There.
Hey.
Are you guys ready for some Smite Q&A?
And also hi.
yeah, some Smite
Patch notes part
Do you
3.
like my very well-rehearsed intro?
Yeah, we're
like,
clearly
pizzazz,
we're clearly professionals here.
It sounded good.
Today is mostly going to be
So we have a
Q&A,
lot of stuff to
but
cover
also
today.
Merlin stuff. We got
Since we
Merlin's
posted the notes
Ultimate.
yesterday and did the show, we got a lot of discussion. We've seen it all over the community, on Twitter, on Reddit, on Discord, everywhere, people talking about different things. So we've got a couple things we've got prepared to go through.
Yes.
I think we should make a point to go through each of our sources. So let's not leave out any part of the community.
Right.
Yep.
So we'll probably go through some of the bigger things we've seen already, and then we'll start looking directly to the chat
Yes.
in the stream to see if we missed
Oh,
it.
I might drop something in the chat then. We'll see.
So I'm going to pull up the Reddit mega thread because that is sortable by upvotes, so that is, generally gives us a good idea of what people want to talk about. If one of y'all can double check here.
By the way, the camera is shaky. It's not
that?
you. It's really
on this
weird.
page, see if I missed anything.
I was
as
just
we
wondering
go
if we
forward.
needed to do any of this.
Yeah, we'll
stuff.
follow.
It hurts my eyes.
Okay, that's a good point. Do you want to start with Merlin, or do we want to end with Merlin?
I mean, it says it's there, meant to be the start.
Well, let's
Yeah,
let's
start
start
the show.
then. Let's start then because that'll help us before
been
we get
teasing
into
at
the real
it
Q&A
for a
and have to dip back out. So let's talk
Sure.
about Merlin.
What are we talking about Merlin today?
Clumsy, who is leading the design on Merlin, is going to talk to us about how his stance changing works. Because we really were super entertained by that thread we saw,
Right,
where
yeah,
everybody was
absolutely.
trying to figure out how it works. Because we told people it was just 3 stances, and we told them it was different.
Yes.
So we're really excited about this. We're not going to be able to show this yet because he's not quite ready yet. We'll be showing him in game on
Next
Monday
week?
or Tuesday
Monday or Tuesday?
next week.
Sounds right.
But we're going to describe how his stance changing
Yes.
works. So Clumsy, take it away.
So Merlin's. Well, we've talked about it, actually. We've said it in different ways, right? We were talking about we're going to be spoiling his stance switch and we're going to be spoiling his ultimate. Well, the reason why we've been bringing both those things together is because his ultimate is the way that Merlin switches stances. So Merlin's ultimate, which we have named Elemental Mastery, is available at level 1, which is a rank 0 ability, and on about a 28-second cooldown and a little bit of mana cost as well, Merlin will be switching stances between his Arcane, his Fire, and his Ice stances. Now the thing is that it's actually in a rotation of Arcane to Fire to Ice back to Arcane. But in the period of when you're using your ultimate, you actually have a brief window of time where you can switch your stances to skip one of the ones in the preset order. So if you're in Arcane, for example, you can use the input and go straight from Arcane to Ice. So you'll be able to, at a whim, choose what stance you want to be in out of those 3.
So this one's really cool. So it's
man.
somewhere in between an ability cooldown and an ultimate cooldown.
Right,
It's
exactly.
somewhere in between. It's a pretty decent cooldown. So I think one of the key things when we were talking about Merlin is we want to make him feel a little different than other stance changers. And a lot of way the other stance changers go is it's a lot of 1 2 3 switch 1 2 3. And Merlin won't be able to do that as often because his ultimate, which is his stance change, will have a longer cooldown.
Yes.
So once you're in a stance, you'll need to use a couple of rotations of abilities in that stance.
Yes.
That's interesting. I like
But
it.
then you can switch. And we have a really cool new tech where when I've seen this working now, it's been awesome. When you press your ultimate ability, your hotbar, your hotkeys of your abilities actually switch to a new set of 1 2 3, where
That's
it lets
right.
you choose.
Yep.
Technically, there's only 2 choices because you're already in one stance.
Exactly, and you cannot go back to
So
the same
Rage
stance.
You
and
can't change to the
ult.
same stance.
Rage
so
and ult
then
swap.
you have, while he's animating, you have that short window to actually choose which stance you want to go to.
Yes.
And there's more. This
Which
ultimate
one?
also does other things.
We want to talk about that too?
I think
Okay.
we should.
Okay,
So
might
we're
as
going to
well.
describe the whole ability
right,
just to
right.
make it clear
Okay,
why it
so-
works the way that it works.
Slight
rank
difference,
0,
man.
The main thing you're going to be doing is using your ultimate to switch stances, but as soon as you put a point into your ultimate as well, you get the actual flavor of the ultimate, and that is during his animation time, Merlin's actually exploding in the damage of the stance that he's currently in, and then he does a very quick implode as well, so that explosion comes back towards him and brings him into a secondary stance. So that means if you're Arcane, you explode in Arcane energy, which has this really sweet looking effects, and then if you switch to Fire, that implosion will be in Fire, and you're now going to be in this Fire red stance.
So it's not only a stance switch, it is also an ability.
It is
that
also
does
down
damage.
That does damage, albeit low to make sure with the low cooldown that it's not an overwhelming ultimate. At point blank range, it's only around him.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's like not quite tier, but not quite Raijin, where you can choose your new, you have new things to choose on your ability bar. It is really cool, and it gives him a completely unique feel.
Yep, a lot of people who have talked to me about it, and once they've seen it, you know, Merlin, we've been saying, is a stance switcher, 3 stances, but he doesn't really play like a stance switcher. I think AJ was alluding to, you know, you don't do your whole kit and you switch stances, your whole kit, and then, you know, go
You
back
definitely
between
can
that.
do that at
You
times.
definitely can do that.
Make
but
those power plays, I like
for
to
me,
call
he
them.
feels like 3 different mages kind of in one. So you can really choose what stance you're, however you want to play, and then switch in the middle of gameplay.
And each stance has a unique advantage that
Yeah.
we designed the gameplay around. We'll go into that more later. And
Yeah,
one of the most exciting things in playtesting is just finding each person
Oh, that's
preferring a
absolutely right.
stance. Because I remember the first time, not that long ago, when I was playing him, when he was in his like more final form, I was like, man, I really don't like stance C or whatever. I don't want to. I don't want to say anything. And then
Sure.
the next playtest, someone who's better than me at Smite, ex-pro, was like, "Holy crap, stance C is so good. I
Yep.
never left it." And I was just like, "Well, I totally missed that," you know, because
Exactly.
my playstyle was just different than theirs.
And
They all
every
played
stance
very
is
differently.
Viable.
All right, so I think that's all we're going to talk about Merlin.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna.
We got a lot of people with questions coming in. Like we
enough
said
points to
before,
talk
we're
about
going to
it.
go over a few
I
questions
really hope
we
they
already
just
had
Smite for-
before we
oh,
go
man.
to chat. But let's make sure we get at least a good hour of chat towards
do we
the
want
end.
to talk about any of that? I'm not sure.
Merlin sounds interesting. I like this new
Oh, are
style
we supposed
stance
to
swap.
explain that today too? Okay, we can
Seems
talk
like
about that. It's on our bullet points. All right. So Merlin in the event, in the Camelot event, he is the reward skin.
Yes.
And he was tagged as exclusive, but really he's a new type of skin type, which is very similar to exclusive. It's going to have some different rules. We're calling it unlimited skin. So he's the first unlimited skin. What this means is that you'll get him for unlocking the entire event, like a normal limited skin, but the will still be an option for you to direct purchase this skin alone, but for an extremely high price. Because this is just
That's
the reward
nice.
skin. You know, a lot of other
That's
people paid
fair.
a lot. And it's got a
unlock
lot of
it
other
by
content to
the
get this
I
skin.
think that is fair.
But
I think
we
it's cool.
wanted, you know, lots of players that come into the game late. They're like, "Oh, this skin is limited. This makes me feel really bad." We want to make sure you have that option to get that skin, but we want to make it feel fair to the people that participated in the event. So this
Right.
is still going to be a very high tier skin, very rare, but it will cost essentially the price of buying the entire event for just that one skin. So you're much better off if you want the skin to participate in the event and get things as they come out, get those discounts as we go from patch to patch, and get all that extra bonus content. But if you're coming to Smite later this year and Merlin's your favorite god and you really want this undead skin we're doing,
People are
for
gonna
him,
be so upset.
we'll be able to get this through the unlimited direct purchase system.
They're gonna
And
be like,
we'll
"Why
be
is the
posting
skin
more
so much
details
more
of that,
expensive
and
than the
we'll be
rest?"
using the system more likely than not, we'll be using the system in the future for some other skins that players often get that feels bad about you can't get later.
Yep, that makes sense.
Does that make sense, the way I explained that? So that's pretty
Seems to make
exciting about
sense.
Merlin too. So Merlin, as our 100th god, has a lot of new things to him, which is really exciting. So,
I'll try if this works.
all right, thank you for reminding me of that, Clumsy.
It's all good.
Let's get into the Q&A, and like I said, I'm going to start with the Reddit because it's upvoted. The
Nope.
top question right now and sorted by best. I don't know if you guys prefer top,
I
top
had
or
done
best.
top, but I will go to best. So I can follow
What's
along.
better though?
mean,
Top
best
is better
is
than
Tier
best.
list of
Is
Reddit
it-
accuracy.
what- is it
Base is
bestest?
best or top?
See, I prefer top.
All right, let me sort to top then. I already had.
So many things I could have said there, but I
Yes.
decided
Okay,
to-
so
I
top.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Top does have more points. All right. So are there any specific plans to rework or change anything about the current UI on PC? From Luca1107.
I really hope they respond to this.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
really hope to.
The UI on PC is a work in progress.
Yep.
Rework and change is a kind of a strange way to phrase it. A lot of people are asking us about reverting. That is not currently the plan. Right now, we have one main goal with UI, and that is to get to our unification between our platforms. It's doing a lot of good for the development team. It'll pay off in the long run. It's going to have some tricky implementation.
Yep.
One of the things we already had to decide, a tough decision, was we decided to launch it in pieces. We wanted to do different parts of the UI one at a time. And as we can see from just this first launch, there's been a lot of things we want to fix, a lot of feedback, a lot of changes. We're really happy with doing this incrementally. If we tried to change the entire UI at once, it would be very overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So we changed the home screen, the friend screen, the party screen, some things like that. We plan to continue this in the future. We plan to go to the other parts of the PC UI and update them to the new art style and the new design style. That will be things like the item shop. I'm talking all in the client here, not in the game, not in the HUD, not in the match, but in the where you buy skins, the area where you check your settings, things like that. And even further down the road, things like clan updates. That is a goal, is to continue towards that parity. For now, what we're doing most actively right now is bug fixing. We had a lot of bugs with the first launch, a lot of features that were missing. that were not removed on purpose.
Right.
Those were bugs. So like reporting players from the recently played section, that was totally intended to be there. It just wasn't working. Okay. So we're going forward with fixing those things. So you're going to see a lot of functionality coming back. We already brought back God filtering. Things that were broken, we're fixing those first, and then we're going to continue forward with finishing up the pairing, and then we have another priority, of course, which is new features and better production value. So we want to make those buttons feel better to click. We want to fix any intuitive issues, but
make it so that we can use our right click for anything.
We're planning a little lower in the priority list than the other two things. So I was meeting with the UI team recently, sharing the feedback. I have a long list document of specific community concerns of feedback to make sure we get the functionality in the UI that we need and things that were broken. And the community's been super helpful for helping us pinpoint these issues. You know, we had a really passionate player make a really detailed video. We made a lot of changes from that video. We reworked the back button. We reworked the art on the chat screen. We made the party player slots clickable. We did a lot of things based on that feedback, and we're going to continue doing more things based on that feedback. But we have to stay true for now to that goal of unifying our platforms. It's going to ease our development schedule. Then we can really take the SMITE UI to the next level. Cool. So that's the plan right now.
That wasn't about my video, by the way.
I know that's a big question. A lot of people
have been asking
about it. There'll probably be some more specifics about that. Maybe we'll have some people ask more detailed questions about that later. But that's fine. Oh my gosh, this is a really long question on the next one. Oh, I see. This one's about animation time.
Yep, animation time on some older abilities. Hades jump on her, boxer.
What's that, please?
So I think one thing here is that there are still new gods with channeled abilities or longer pre-fire times on abilities.
Yeah, HiRez a polymorph. That
so
has a really big wind.
It's different.
I don't think that this is a new versus old thing.
Kind of is.
I'm kind of made a point on the patch show yesterday about timing and hit area and how important that is to balance and power. And I want to make it clear to the community that when we make abilities that have longer design pre-fires and casting times, it's very intentional, right?
Yeah.
So like use the Hera example and walk them through why does that ability take time to cast?
So Hera really, there's two main reasons we want Hera's polymorph to have a longer cast time. One was for just readability. You're about to be hit by this really powerful effect. It's going to be coming at you. We want there to be enough time for you to process that it's happening, that it's coming towards you, and you're going to get hit by it. So you have time to juke and dodge it and avoid it if needed. The second reason is we also get some cool animation time. We actually let the animation team have time to really sell this powerful effect of her channeling power. And for Hera, we want to make her feel powerful in her own right, even though she had Argus that was going to be summoned in. She needed to feel powerful and godly in her own right. So giving the animation time, essentially giving animation time for animation to do their thing to make it feel powerful, helps sell that ability.
And so let's say Hera's under power. Theoretically, she's not. She's pretty balanced.
She's getting a slight nerf.
Yeah, she's getting a slight nerf actually. How would you feel if people are saying Hera is OP, or let's say Hera is weak? Hera is weak. You should make that animation faster to make her better. How does that make you feel as a designer on that ability?
It would be both potentially increasing frustration, right? Because that is going to make it so that one of the goals was to reduce frustration by giving you time to react to that. It can increase in frustration because now suddenly you're just hit by this thing that you had no, like. This is going to get a bit technical, but like human reaction time is like 250 milliseconds roughly. You get that much time they can at least process what happened. The closer you get to that, the more frustrating it can be. It also is a decent burden because now you have to rework animations to fit that new effect, which can be that can cause it to like not feel as impactful. It can lose a lot of its weight. And so in that situation, I'd prefer keeping the time and adjusting something else instead.
So in the
but that's like not the same for Bastet 2.
Burn Xbox, we don't really look to speed up animation time as a buff. That's something we generally try to stay away from because of the concerns we have here. Lots of times those abilities were designed with those longer times for specific reasons. Either they're point blank area effect abilities, so you need a warning. Because projectiles you have time to react to. Obviously, Hera's is so powerful, we wanted you to have both of those times to react to it. But plenty of these other abilities being described, Hunbats, Hades, those are very close range abilities. So you're going to get hit by it once it fires. So we like that time there. We would much rather buff these gods in other ways.
Yeah.
His ranged abilities don't hit you? What?
Yeah, and like for like Hunbats, one example could be if it didn't feel rewarding enough to land that time, you could do things like increase the damage so the payoff is higher.
Right, add another effect.
Yeah.
And we've seen
I'm
this
fine with
Hunbats
actually, but stat is the issue.
Examples where we've made these changes. And this is where one thing where a lot of people have been seeing this come up in the community a lot, which is really smart from our community, which is people complain that the community asks for one thing and then we do it, and then another group of people are mad about that thing.
Right.
And that's because you can never hear from everybody at once.
But Ola is instant
kind of
CC and not with that
a lot of
damage.
People, this character feels bad, speed it up. And then you speed it up, and everybody's like, why are you making these gods with all these insta free to hit abilities? This is ridiculous. Why would you do this? And we're like, well, those people asked us to. Yeah. So that's why we have to be careful. And speeding up abilities has a lot of impact on skill shotness of the ability, changing those animation times. So it's a really big buff. It's a very expensive to develop and implement buff, and it's dangerous from frustration.
But on the other hand, Bastet got a buff, so
and we also have the one other thing, which is like there's some cases where, like for example, Hu Yi Leap, where the animation of them leaving the ground doesn't match to their unhittability.
Yes.
And that's a separate issue.
Well, that's actual latency too, because we buffed that to be 0.
Yes.
You are immune when you fire that ability, but client-server interactions sometimes let you get stunned, even though you think you're flying, because your screen, you see yourself moving up, but your opponent does not.
So in perfect latency, we try to make it sure that it's very clear. If you've taken off, you're not hittable anymore. Latency can sometimes distort that, but in those cases, that's something that we can generally actually adjust.
Yeah, and I looked at doing that for Onher, but the way his ability was set up, it was causing his animation to break in a very unintended way. So
he
was sliding really far and then leaping, so he would take a longer arc of reprogramming that whole ability to make that function. But that's something we might actually look into on that case. But that's different than a firing ability. So, all right, let's move on. Another question about the UI. So I already talked about that. We really want to make sure we bring back the functionality that was lost. We want to fix bugs, and we want to keep moving towards this paired UI so that we can then really make the big improvements to it. Magic Fighter, a very passionate community member, has a question here. I know it's a sketchy subject, but do you have any god or goddess remodels in the near future?
Did we get that asked?
You talked about that in the last Q&A. We got that.
Kind of the difficulties with remodels in the last Q&A, but I'm happy to say now that yes, we are planning one.
Oh, we are?
Neat.
We are planning one. I don't want to get too detailed on it.
Is that a spoiler? Like that? We haven't said that yet.
No, we have not said that.
Ooh.
A lot of these questions are hard to answer without spoiling. So, yes, we are planning one. It's still, the details are still being worked out about how we can fit this into our development schedule and not cause any harms to the normal pipeline.
Right.
So we are working on one. It's already in a concept phase. So I'm seeing the art of the characters redesigned, but that's as far as we are right now. So it's going to be a while, going to be a little while away, and we're still trying to figure out what's the best way to go about doing this. But we know the community wants this. We want to do things that the community is excited about, and I'm really excited for this one, so I'm happy about that.
Awesome.
Yeah. And some of the skins need update as well. So that is a lower priority for us, definitely. A lot of people are happy with the way their skins are. We made some very slight tweaks to some older skins like Soul Taker Hades and stuff like that a little while ago. We'll look for those, but those are going to be small and subtle, and we're not going to really make a big deal.
People like their retro skins.
Sometimes people really like those skins the way they are.
Yeah.
Last time I played All Out Assault with some pro players and some SML players, they all picked Solar Sentinel Raw.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure I do too.
Really? And they're like, yeah, it's the best skin. So we don't. That is complicated. That's definitely lower priority, and I can't really say that we have concrete plans or work already in progress for any skin updates, but we do have a god. Here's some Season 6 balance we got here from Trap House Savage. As a Zeus main, I would love to get more insight on the Zeus changes. I'm not mad or overjoyed, but I am concerned. There was talks that these tweaks were a nerf to his early, but a buff to his late, and were intended for modes outside of Conquest. Yet his early nerfs seem so tiny in comparison to the late game buffs. So it seems like it's a tricky shift to math out. Players are worried that we're over buffing him in the shift.
So the big thing that we talked about was the big nerfs he got to his early game damage were, one, the cooldown of Aegis Assault. That ability in itself is relatively easy to confirm, and it also confirms his follow-up damage. The less often he casts it, the less damage he's dealing. The base damage on the detonate, it was pretty reliable with Aegis Assault and the ultimate to get more than one stack of the detonate, and so that damage nerf that's happening there is part of that to mitigate how much damage he's doing, as well as the rank 1 ultimate is toned down. You can see a lot of this is actually tuned towards specifically level 5. Right, like where you don't have that many points and things. That was the part that we felt he was overbearing. And then we gave him buffs to his late game scaling, because when you nerf someone's early game capability, that reduces their chance to snowball, that reduces their chance to farm. It's more likely they can get put behind, so you compensate for that a little bit more, especially because we were looking to shift him more towards the late game, where he's largely considered underwhelming in Conquest, and that's where we felt we could help him. And the early game nerf was going to hurt him significantly in the modes where he was overperforming and causing frustration, namely like Assault or Arena.
Yeah, Yeah, and I mean,
I
you
think that's
talked about
good.
this yesterday as well, where because we're reducing the base damage and we're increasing the scaling a little bit to compensate, it means you can't go those hybrid tanky builds and just be tanky and deal a lot of damage at the same time. You actually have to invest into more power, which means you're going to be squishier.
Yeah, you could rush the early high health item and be very effective with it. You could rush the Gem of Isolation and not feel necessarily punished for having gone that more defensive choice versus something like rushing a Book of Thoth and getting more power.
AJ audible sniffles in chat. I'm sorry, I have bad allergies, so I try my best to keep those under control. But I think the key point of the Zeus question is this might be a slight buff in some places.
Yeah.
And that's okay because we're looking at reducing a lot of his core frustration elements as well. And although the god does perform pretty well in most cases, he's not really seen as a strong god in most competitive sense.
Yes.
So
ask Ambiance about that part.
is what we're aiming to do.
Yes.
And a more
You might disagree.
normal mode nerf.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about SMITE and being on a live game is if he overperforms in 6-1, then we'll just make sure to keep an eye on for the next one. So, thank you for that 6-1 balance question. Hopefully we get into more some 6-1. I know we have a lot of questions about all sorts of things, but we definitely want to talk about 6-1 balance. So let's move on to another one. This is a great one here. Why no Freya nerfs? Considering that during the stream, what you said during stream, and the fact that she is pick banned 24/7 and in 100%. Okay, so those are some fake stats being thrown out. But Legion,
But you said
Legion 346. That is a good question. So Freya, we talked about a lot during 6-1, didn't we?
All the time.
Yeah. There's so much to go into Freya. I think one of the things is we have adjusted her recently, and that has a good amount that's going that kind of thing where if you nerf a character, sometimes it takes some time for things to work out and for perception to start changing a little bit. I think we wanted to see how that performed, as well as we were making other mage changes at the time. They don't necessarily affect Freya, but it might affect the whole map, and that is something to consider as well. But we were looking at Freya, and I think we're still even willing to look at Freya.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely still looking at Freya. So things to note in the meantime. Freya does have a very high ban rate.
Yes.
Which you can go to smitegg.com. Big shout out and thank you to the players who run that for our community.
There's a lot of effort to maintain something like that.
Yes, and I would love to share stats with you guys, but it's just really time consuming, so I can't do it so much. But I'm working on some new ways to maybe show more stats for you guys in the future for the community. But if you go to smitegg.com,
I like stats.
go to Ranked Conquest, sort by Platinum, and sort by ban rate, you'll see that Freya is number 3, very high ban rate, 72.6, but it's down 7% from last patch.
7%. Okay, that's
yeah.
pretty big.
And another thing is her win rate is 50.59.
No way.
Yeah, so she is
We don't even
very
plan this.
closely.
I had no idea.
But win rate isn't everything. Of
course.
course. Characters can still be frustrating and overpowered even if they have a balanced win rate. That's totally true. But as we can see here, Freya's actually only getting picked into about 10%, 11% of games, and only winning about half of them. So keep banning her if you're mostly concerned with her, because that's a pretty popular thing to do right now. You'll make your ranked teammates happy, just statistically speaking. Your chances of making your ranked teammates happy, which is good. We're going to continue looking at her in terms of our goals for her. Core
That's
goal being
a very reasonable
she's not
take.
intended to be a burst mage, but she feels like that.
That somebody wants to be
We're gonna
upset about
keep looking
anyways.
at
But
that.
hey.
We think a big bit of that is Polynomicon, but then that item's not very good on most other gods, so we don't just want to nerf it just because of Freya. It's a complicated scenario, but we do have some ideas for Freya. We're still going to be looking into her, but as far as I can tell, statistically speaking, she's not overperforming to a point where she should be ruining everybody's day.
Yep. But we are still looking at her.
But we're
Yes,
definitely
don't
still
worry.
looking at it.
We do identify the frustration case of the banish into the one poly burst as you fall.
Yes.
We're definitely attuned to that. We have to spend more time looking at it. We have to see where she actually really falls, especially with season 6 shaking things up.
And I have all my stats right here now, and I'm looking for her
Oh, yeah,
in
you do.
non-ranked modes too, and she is performing quite poorly in non-ranked.
I mean,
Conquest, quite poorly actually. And her, let's see her play count.
Not surprised. You don't see her much in
Play count
non-ranked.
not super high either. So Freya is definitely not appearing in 100% of your games, statistically speaking. And her ban rate is high, but her play count and win rate are not super high. But that doesn't change.
Yes.
That we still had design goals for her that maybe we didn't meet, and we do want to address those. And that's
Cool.
maybe something we'll look into
I like
for
that.
6-2 or 6-3.
Sounds cool.
Cool. All right, moving on down the Reddits. So let's do one or two more down on the Reddits because we're starting to get
we
relatively
gotta
low
switch
points.
to,
I
some
noticed
other
you
points.
buffed health tree items except for Mail of Renewal. Is there any reason for that? From Peridulians.
Paradolians.
Danger item.
Sorry. Yes, that is exactly why. Mail of Renewal is a very dangerous item. If everyone is buying Mail of Renewal, it's extremely snowbally, right? Because you start winning a team fight, you guarantee to win that team fight. Mail of Renewal is still a pretty strong item from what we can see, although it's in relatively low purchase rate.
Right.
Yep.
But we like it like that, right? There's a lot of items in Smite that are just different. They're unique. They have some stranger passives, and they're not going to be overwhelmingly popular, but the people who use them and use them well see great results, and that's okay.
Yeah, as long as when they're picking it, they're seeing success, that's largely an okay place for an item to be, especially if it's not causing sudden frustration by it being everywhere and being too overkill.
I think if it was ever perceived that Mail of Renewal was, you know, strong or healthy, it would probably be causing a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
If it was ever considered strong or popular, it would definitely be causing frustration. But as we can see here, a lot of different players have a lot of different opinions.
Anti-heal is too
Popular
strong at the moment, though.
strong or
Right,
not.
exactly.
Right?
So it doesn't really
to
matter.
the community, in many ways, popular does equal strong. You see everybody buy it, you assume it's strong, you don't care. But we can see right now, from our statistics, whether you believe us or not, that the players who do buy this item can find success with it.
Yes.
Although definitely not, it's not overpowered. It could be buffed.
And it's
It could be buffed.
and it's probably a
but
non-qual
the
Conquest
risk of
item, too.
buffing it is very high.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as we strive to make every item viable, we have to be careful with some. Okay, so Freya nerf question again. Okay. I think we're hitting to the bottom of the Reddit thread. So let's move on to our doc, which is Isaiah compiled this from a couple of
so
different
this is
sources.
A lot of Twitter and other sources.
So
Yeah, these are, I believe, just Twitter.
these are Twitter. Okay, awesome. So,
So we tackled the Reddit
thank
thread.
you, Reddit. Those were all the top voted Reddit questions. Thank you for participating in that thread. Maybe we'll come back there later and get some more deep if we have some time. Now we're going to go to Twitter. So cross-play, cross-progression.
Yes.
I know we talked about this for a long time on Monday, and maybe bored a few of you. But apparently some people didn't pay attention enough still, because there's a lot of questions.
Oh, no,
It's
come
okay.
on.
It's
It's
complicated.
complicated.
It's so
No,
it's super
that's a
complicated.
Q&A for that. That's
Yeah.
a written... please.
When and where is crossplay coming? So, Nintendo Switch complicates this a little bit more because it makes the dates a little fudged. Because Nintendo Switch is going to ship with a minimal version of crossplay,
Okay.
where it can play with Xbox players if they are matched in the right. So it's going to be all new accounts on Nintendo. So new accounts will be able to play with some new Xbox accounts. But that'll really help the new player experience. They'll have more players to dip into.
The new play
Real
experience.
crossplay is coming in 6.1 launch.
Cool.
And that's going to involve PC, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Unfortunately, we cannot bring it to PlayStation right now as much as we'd like to. Hopefully that will change. But that's all I know about that right now.
Blame Sony.
So, crossplay will be in 6.1. We will have... We're still talking about the finer details of this. We're still working on it. Our tech team is still working on it right now. The plan that we have gone with and the plan that's in our FAQ is still correct, where crossplay will be on by default for normal modes, but you will have a setting. If you're a PC player, you're in crossplay if you just go and play, but you can go to a setting and set yourself to PC only. And if you're an Xbox player, you'll be set on crossplay, but if you want to go into a setting, you set yourself
Yeah,
to
you can opt out.
Controller only.
Controller,
Not
yes.
Xbox.
Oh, okay.
And Xbox only, I believe, as well. Which then you'll be in a really narrow play pool, so I wouldn't recommend that. But so those are the plans for crossplay. It's coming in 6.1, so February 5th. That's when crossplay will be available.
There we go.
So the next question is about cross progression.
I'm going
For
to do
example, if
crossplay.
I have 600 worshippers on a god on Xbox and
Just for the
1,000
fun
on
of it.
PC, will these be added together to 1,600 across accounts, or will it work differently? And the answer is yes. It will work like that. It will work like the added thing, not differently. You will take your worshipper number on this account and this account, add them directly together.
Yeah. Pen, pun, apple, apple, pen.
So anything that could be added together, we're going to try and do
Pretty
that.
much everything. Favor, worshippers, player account level.
Experience,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. I think one of the tough ones is hard currency. Depending
Sure.
on where you bought the hard currency,
Oh,
you might
right.
only have access to that hard currency on a certain platform. But then you can just buy the Camelot event on Xbox and use the skins on PC anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter in that regard. But gems, there might be a little bit of restriction. But for the most part, we are merging anything like that.
Oh, that's weird.
So what about your player name? So this one is confusing as well. And we're still talking about this one. But from what I understand, there will be the possibility of duplicate player names in the crossplay world.
Right, of course.
Steam allows duplicate player names. So does Nintendo Switch. So what you'll need to do is make sure when you're friending someone or partying someone that you've communicated with them to make sure they're the person you think they are.
Yep.
And
Great.
pros and streamers out there, make sure you report imposters to us. People do that already.
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot
Yes.
of that.
So, but also people out there, if you think HiRez Pon is doing something in a game he shouldn't do, it might not be him.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for
and
official,
report them, because that is
sources,
impersonating is a bannable offense.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
gamer
Alright,
tags
cool.
will not be unique. I believe that is what's happening. And for the most part, that means your name won't be force changed or anything like that.
Yeah.
We might give some option to change names. That might be a different thing, but okay. Those are the questions about crossplay, cross progression. Now let's get into gods. These are exciting.
Cool.
How big will Jormungandr's model be on a scale from Kukulkan to Apophis?
I think you have Kukulkan riding Apophis. You get.
How would you describe his size, Clumsy?
In Caprice, please.
In Capri's.
Were you at the scale test, or I take care of that while you were
no,
on
actually, I
vacation?
was away on vacation.
Yeah, I thought you were. So.
But I've seen the model concepts.
So, Jormungandr.
It looks kind of like this.
He
right?
looks like this, right? And the floor is here.
I feel weird that I'm not making the...
So he is gonna be, make yourself a Jorm. Everybody Jorm.
Oh my God, we're gonna.
It's a new meme.
Oh no.
Please so.
Jorm is going to be tall, as you can see here.
Yes.
He's tall.
This is if you
This
just
is
turn
to
this
scale.
into SMITE units, we got this.
But he is not going to be that wide.
Right.
So Kepri's hitbox actually in a square is pretty huge. If Jorm was that wide, to make his self look proportional, he would be like 3 stories tall. So he's not going to be that wide, but he's going to be the tallest god in the game.
Yeah.
This is, I'm pretty sure, is a fact already. He will be the tallest god in the game. So he might have some sight advantages. He'll be able to see better around him.
Yep.
There's some certain walls he might be able to look over that other gods cannot. Of course, Fog of War will still obscure characters on the walls, but
Yes.
if you have wards and things like that, you might be able to see things. So he is going to be tall, but not as big as a footprint as Kepri.
Right, and I mean we've shown off his concept many times. So if you kind of use that as a point of reference, it might make a little bit more sense.
How about in reference to Argus?
He's not going to be as bulky as Argus either, but he'll be about maybe as tall, maybe not quite as tall.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to see that on the map again.
We're going to obviously do some tweaking as we go. We've got the general
it's
scale,
definitely not
but the nice
finalized
thing about
yet.
making a snake is we can just make him
Go
longer
up.
or shorter if we
Right.
need to, without actually resizing the character. So he plans to be tall.
He plans to be tall.
He also
right?
plans to be not as wide as this.
Not as wide as Kepri.
Yeah.
Right.
What class would he be? I don't think we've said
We
his
have
class.
not
Have
talked
we
about
not said
that.
his
We
class?
have not
That
talked
seems like
about
too
that.
many big hype spoilers for
That's-
one day. That
that's-
seems like we should save
Yeah.
that.
Is that actually one of the questions now?
It's Guardian
Obviously, I get
anyways.
questions
Come on,
about
it's a
future gods
Guardian.
and classes and stuff like that all the time,
Yeah.
and we have to hold some of those.
gotta be
for
a Guardian.
future. So we'll talk about his class later, but that's how big he is. Any plans to flesh out pantheons with only a couple gods? Baron, Samedi, and Pele are pretty lonely.
Every
Not to mention
time.
Celtic and Hindu.
We've talked about this a bit.
Also in the
Yeah, this is
Q&A
something I've
last
talked about
time.
a lot, and the answer here is no. Generally, no. The logic that says this pantheon does not have enough gods, therefore make a god, we do not think that way.
Right.
What you should think instead is this
What you
god
should think
would be
instead is
really
please don't
awesome
ask
for the
questions in
game,
the
but
Q&A
isn't in the
that were
game.
already
I think
answered.
That's how we
Really
have to
important
think.
as
Yeah.
well, because one of the reasons why we dipped into those other pantheons is because we broke out of that restriction, going like, oh, we felt like we needed to put things here, but now we're like, no, we're just going to choose what we think is awesome and then make that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have Baron, Samedi, or Pele if it came with the we need to also make 4 other voodoo gods. We also need to make 4 other Polynesian gods like
Right,
immediately
exactly.
to fill out the roster. That would basically dictate our content schedule for the next like 2 years.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean we will not revisit some of those pantheons.
Yeah.
It's always possible.
Definitely.
For us to
But
look at
if
some
you
of those
really
pantheons
want
again.
to get gods in those pantheons as a community, you should be pitching us gods.
Yes,
Don't
not
say
pantheons.
don't say Baron's lonely. Say Papa Legba is a really cool god
Right.
related to Baron. He would be great. Here's what I think he would look like. Here's what I think he would play like. Here's how he'd be interesting. Get people excited. That is something we'll pay attention to. Just saying Mayan hasn't had a god in a while, we want one, doesn't mean anything to us. So that's our thought process there.
I like main
I
gods
think,
though.
like we said, that's been really successful for us, so we don't see a reason to change it right now. Can we expect any remodels?
We
Already
talked
talked
about
about that. Check it off. Is the Switch Scylla skin only available from the bundle, or will it be available after Smite Switch is released? I believe that skin is exclusive.
Yep, I don't know enough about that.
I don't remember. If it's exclusive, you might be able to get that in another way in the future.
Yeah.
If it's limited, you will not.
Uh,
So follow that naming.
yeah, I can't even say if it would match the other like console-specific skins.
Well, we've done different rules for
Because
all
we
of
had
them.
different
Yeah,
rules,
different
yeah,
rules for
so-
all of them. This one is part of the Founders Pack purchase bundle. It doesn't have any art on it that mandates it be only played on a specific platform. So it's
Okay.
possible you could get it someplace else in the future, but seems unlikely. And generally, anything like that, we wait months before we
right.
make it available.
Details to be discussed further.
Yeah. Are we getting any female deities this year?
Ah,
And how many? I will say yes, but I can't say how many.
Okay.
Just yes. Yes, female deity this year, yes.
Start making your checklist now.
And we'll definitely be planning more females in the future, too. Because after creatures and a couple male gods and a couple creature gods, highly community-requested gods, we had a long string where we're going to go without female gods. So we'll definitely be looking for goddesses. So, hey, if you really want to make a cool idea for Pantheons, give us your favorite goddess ideas. We would love to hear them. Are we going to see more deities or heroes from Arthurian lore? Currently, we do not have any other characters on the schedule from Arthurian lore.
But we have a list of things that we'd like to.
Yeah, so I pitched, what did I pitch? I pitched Lady of the Lake as a goddess.
Yep.
I pitched a dragon.
Yep.
Just a dragon.
Like a
I was going to call him Uther and just actually interpret him as Uther Pendragon as a dragon. So we pitched a dragon.
Mordred.
We have talked about Mordred a lot. I think I had an early Lancelot pitch.
Yes.
I just like the idea of Lancelot because a big shield and like lance. We don't have any character that has that type of weapon set, which is cool.
We'd even talked, I think, Guinevere?
Guinevere? Oh yeah, we pitched kind of Guinevere as like a holy priest or like some damaging holy magic. I had a Sir Tristan pitch too, I believe, because he is known for archery. So if we wanted to do Arthurian Hunter. I think even Robin Hood got brought up in the mix, but everybody was like, AJ, stop.
That's too much.
Too much. Stick with Arthur and Merlin. Yeah, Morgan Le Fay, Morgana, she's discussed a lot. And although she's compared to the Morgan, they're actually not that tied together historically.
Yeah.
People equate them as the same character, but they're really not.
Yep.
So those have all been discussed, but none of those are currently planned. So maybe Season 7, maybe.
Yep.
That's all I can say, maybe. What else we got? Any plans to bring back duo queue for ranked? This is a touchy one.
This is very
also talked about in the Q&A.
So ranked matchmaking. In a lot of ways, the less strains you can put on the system, the better.
Did you mute yourself, Pawn?
I don't think so. I might have.
Stream, can you guys hear your Pawn?
I feel like Pawn.
Aha!
Yeah.
There we go.
I muted myself. I moved my foot and I hit the button, and I shouldn't hit the button.
Yeah, it's the don't touch this button.
Don't touch this button. Okay.
It's tough. There's not a lot of room right now.
Anyways, I'm back. You can stop typing F's in chat and back.
All right, duo queue, Pawn. Tell us about duo queue versus solo queue.
Basically, for any matchmaker, the less constraints you can put on it, the better. And a big constraint is duo queue. When you have two people in a party and the system has to go, I have to pair these two people together, even if they're different skill levels, even if there's not that many people online at the time, it can be a huge difficulty for the matchmaker to work with. And so by removing that, making everyone solo queue only, it can match just the best people together, and it can make better matches. And we know that this is going to be, some people really like duo queue. They would probably only play ranked if they duo queue, but we felt that it was worth trying to improve the match quality of ranked to do this. And then afterwards, we looked at it. We looked at how many people play rank.
So that's a good point I was
going to
mostly make, is that the number of players playing ranked across the time this was changed stayed exactly the same.
Yes.
So our ranked player base is very consistent over the years, actually.
Yeah.
As Smite's population has shifted to different platforms or rose and fallen at different times of the year, our ranked Conquest player base is very consistent. And it was very consistent across this change as well.
Yeah.
So when people were telling me, hey, my friend quit here because of duo queue, well, when I see that the size of our number of players playing this mode, that means someone else decided to play.
Yeah.
So maybe we did lose a few players, but we also gained a lot, and we made match quality better.
Yeah, that was
just statistically speaking, 100% proven it's better.
I haven't seen the most recent
numbers. Might not be perfect, but it is better than it was before.
I haven't had like the most recent numbers, but I did see numbers after we made this change. We let it sit for a while. The amount of like MMR disparity between players, how wide the gaps were, they all went significantly down, which is good. You want them to be lower. The lower they are, the closer the match is in theory.
Right. So we're definitely going to reevaluate that after 6-1, and we're going to take a look at it. Bringing duo queue back is totally possible. We might be open to that if we can find ways to matchmake. Maybe if we get to the future, we get to a cross-platform ranked world. Maybe sometime later, who knows, that would be mid-season, Season 7, maybe, if people are okay with that. Maybe then it would be okay.
Maybe with a new rule
put
set.
Some other rules where you have to be much closer in MMR with your teammates before you can do that. Maybe we could do some things. But right now we're planning on keeping it the same because it's kept the ranked population pretty healthy and pretty consistent.
While increasing match quality. Absolutely.
So do Oni, Fury, and Fire minions affects stack?
Yeah, they should. Absolutely.
Yes, so the Oni Fury will give your minions
we talked about that yesterday.
Red cloud, or it was blue, but I think we're changing that.
Yeah, it's
it was
probably
meant to be. A swirling cloud of energy. Whatever color the
They're
Apex
enhanced.
artists choose to pick. Around them, so then...
We literally had a whole
fire
blog
minions,
talking
that's what
about
you
that
see on
yesterday.
their
Why do
hands and
people not
weapons,
listen?
so they can
It's
have
so
both of those
frustrating.
effects at the same time, and then
Like it's
nothing
not. This
goes
is not on HiRez at
So
all.
you can
People
do
just
super,
ask
super wave.
really
That is part of
stupid questions that
our
were
goal, to
answered
make more
already.
Tactical choices in Conquest and make players have to make plays, and we're excited about that. Okay, any ideas for plans or the future of clans?
Clans.
And are you planning on adding more items to the clan shop for those who are stacked?
Yes, they have plans for clans. They already said that
Originally, I released
yesterday.
a blog post that we didn't have any plans for this. We're still in the very early stages of it, but now the answer is looking more like yes. We
Ooh.
do want to make changes to the clan system. We do want to add more rewards to the clan system. Both of those things we want to do. It might be something more towards mid-season or towards Season 7. It's going to take us a little while. We have a lot of other UI priorities first. This is a UI-heavy task, so we don't want to take away from our core polish and update and bug fixing and functionality change with clans yet, so we're going to focus on that later. But we do want more rewards, and just to throw one thing out here that I want to correct people a little bit. A lot of people just say there's no benefit in being in a clan, and I want to make it clear that, one, giving you up to 5 free skins just for joining a clan is a pretty cool feature that you can't really get in other games. So yeah, maybe if you've been in the clan forever, you don't really feel this reward anymore, but SMITE is very generous to give people things, a lot of things for free, and new players coming to the game get this cool opportunity to earn some cool skins.
I just wish we had more shadow skins. I love them.
And that is really cool.
Give me
and that's
Shadow
a big deal.
Pele.
And having friends to play with.
Right, and the second thing, and I talked about this in my blog post, is just the value of friendship, right?
Friendship.
Just the friendship itself is valuable. We know that people have more fun when they play with their friends. Every once in a while, you have that difficult friend that maybe you don't want to queue up with so much because they're yelling or salty or whatever. But you know, most of the time, it's just great to meet people. People come out to HiRez Expo and they meet their people they've been playing with, and they meet people through streaming communities and clans. So there's a very important function those serve. Like many video games don't directly reward you just for being in a clan.
Yeah.
They have things you can do with your clan to maybe earn in-game rewards, but it's mostly a social structure. And our SMITE clan system is pretty successful at getting people into it and helping people make friends. But we do want to make expansions in the future. It's just going to be something that's a little further down the road. Is it possible to implement a random god skin selection?
So you pick a god and then you hit random on what skin you want?
Oh, yeah.
Currently, all that stuff is done before you get into the match lobby, so that would probably be a pretty core, because you do that. Right now, you can't change their loadout items in match lobby.
Yeah.
We had some issues with that causing problems. So there's some
I think
technical
things
barriers here.
Yeah, some things start loading there.
Yeah, it's some technical issues, but it is probably possible.
Yeah, I guess he just wants, like, when you've already locked in your god, you just, like,
But
click
you can't
a
decide
random
which
button.
skin, but a
Yeah.
random.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, I guess it's possible. But
Honestly,
a
yes,
level
just
of
close your eyes.
tech work it might not be worth right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to it.
Interesting.
When
It's an interesting feature request.
it is, it's an interesting one. It might be possible.
I don't think many people use it.
Well, hiding
compared to, like,
profiles
other-
also hide MMR. So when we decide to show MMR, around well, the numbers are changing now. But in a couple months, when the first split is over, we're going to do more updates to ranked. We're going to show ranked MMR.
Yes.
We currently plan on only showing this to you anyway. So whether your profile is hidden or not, other people will not be able to see your MMR in game.
Except
through outside tools.
Well, not even through outside tools. The absolute top end players.
Oh, the absolute top end players. We also run ELO MMR based leaderboards. So if you're at Grandmasters or Masters, people might be able to see your MMR. But for the average player, no, they can't see your MMR. No one else can see your MMR. They'll need to use an exterior tool.
And if you hide your profile, the exterior tool won't be able to get the MMR and associate with your profile. But if someone looks up that match, they'll see, oh, a player existed here. We don't know who that is, but they had MMR of this.
Right. Will we ever see God kills assists back on loading frames? That's a tricky one. There was a lot of UI changes happening. This is one of the things that we cut in the meantime, and this was purposefully cut because there's a lot of information on that loading screen.
Yeah.
I would say if we go back to that loading screen in our polish pass later, we'll reevaluate the space for this. So maybe. I don't want to say no indefinitely, but based on our current goals of getting the bug fixes and the functionality back in the client UI, this is not at the top of the list right now. So, but we're still doing a pass on updating the other screens, and then we're going to be doing a pass on just making the UI look better everywhere and adding more production value, making it feel better. When we get to the loading screen as a concept in that pass, this is something we'll talk about. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's the plan there. Ranked.
This made me laugh.
Ranked assault. What do you guys think about that?
Ranked assault.
I think it would work the same way that ranked arena did, which is people will optimize the most unfun strategy possible. So for anyone who isn't familiar with ranked arena, arena generally people fight and have fun, and it's a fun mode where you just get a lot of kills. Ranked arena turned into everyone sitting in their fountain clearing minions and then going out for the only final kill.
Right.
And we quickly found out, one, people who play arena are not interested in like a super competitive mode, or like it's only a very small fraction of them, and then those small fraction ended up making the mode very abusable and
which makes sense.
And I imagine assault has to have some similar parallels.
So no, we don't really plan on it. One, it'll split queues more, which we don't really like to do.
Which is rough.
One thing we have discussed a little bit, which is this is like super early discussion, is the idea of even in normal modes having some sort of progression system involved in them to show that you're a very veteran or very high skill level player for any mode.
Oh, that
so
is
this
sick.
would not necessarily be a ranked system. It might not. It might be purely positive. So you get 1 point for a loss and 10 point for wins or something like that. So it's purely positive. There's a lot of different ways we can implement this. It might only start showing you your information at a certain MMR value. We have a lot of different ways of doing that, but that's kind of the closest thing we would do. Is maybe just something like that, a progression system on normal modes. This is like no one started on this. This is mostly just an idea.
I love progression everywhere. So.
Brag on my
Or
casual
the idea
Conquest
of us,
farm.
like, running community tournaments for Assault,
Yes,
or like
that's
there's people ask us about 5v5 Conquest all the time. There's a player-run organization running a 5v5 normal player Conquest tournament this weekend or next weekend. I just saw signups being retweeted. So things like that are the alternate ways you can kind of get this experience in the meantime. Is there going to be mouse and keyboard support on Xbox? The answer is yes, but it's not going to be ready at the time crossplay comes out. So we are planning on getting the full functionality for that eventually. I don't have a time frame on it though.
Okay,
so
cool.
We do want to do that. Will fantasy points carry over, or will your saved up fantasy points be reset?
Reset.
Yes, your fantasy points will be reset.
Yes.
They will
course.
be reset. Sorry.
I believe every season we essentially take the amount that you've earned that season, we catalog it, and then we would start again with the next season.
Yeah.
But because we don't have season ticket coming, there won't be.
So we still have a lot
fantasy
of things
points.
to get into in our core game systems, and we're going to talk about more of that on the patch show on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But you will not be getting your season ticket points for next year. We're going to have new systems in place and different things. We're going to change a few things. So
And there are some things that
Those
are
won't
Gotta be a battle
there are
pass.
some things associated with that, like
I'll talk
boosters
about
for
it
these
already.
points, and those are actually going to.
we'll make sure that any other items or cosmetics you have are still valuable and still usable, but fantasy points themselves will not carry over next year.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you guys thinking of making a new joust map? What do you guys think about the current joust map?
Honestly, I like the change.
So we
I like
did
the
classic
grab.
joust this year, huh?
Yeah, classic. So Jack
Oh, that was a fun
Do we
experiment.
want to go talk about the timeline of how classic joust went?
Classic Joust actually retained players very well. A lot of people played Classic Joust throughout its entire adventure lifetime. A lot of people did, but it definitely dropped off quite a bit from its initial to its final. Right now we plan on updating Assault first.
Wish they could have kept Domination longer.
We haven't discussed about another another map after that yet. Joust, I think Joust has some room for optimizations, but I wouldn't recommend a full redesign. That would just be my opinion, but we would have to talk with the whole team about it.
Yeah.
Another thing that gets posed a lot is a dual map. Which
A dual map.
Which
A
we
dual specific.
don't plan on creating either, but what we could do is maybe make some balance changes to the dual version of the Joust map. They're saved as two separate maps, so they use the same map.
I believe they use the same map.
They use the same map, so we would need some new tech for that too.
Yes.
We would need some new tech for that too. So possibly that, but no new Joust map planned right now. Definitely not making a new one. If we do, it would probably be some improvements, some little art touch-ups, or a couple balance changes to the current one. When is Assault getting the update? Like all the other game modes, Assault is next, which is exciting.
Hey.
And I know we didn't reveal too much about that yet because we're still in the early stages of it. It's gonna be a couple months away. I think we were thinking like, I don't want to say a date and be completely wrong, but a couple months away. Assault rework coming soon. Full art update, but still Norse and still a lot of the similar setting feels. We loved that kind of astral.
It's definitely pretty awesome.
Really cool. And we're gonna have some layout changes, and we're gonna have some new types of game mechanics to experiment, encouraging aggression and prevent camping and things like that. So Okay, that's all of Isaiah's questions.
Yep.
Cool.
And we're about halfway through the stream, so we can try to get some more chat interaction now. Oh, we got some pro Discord questions.
So we have one that we can, I don't know how much we want to talk about this, but I can actually just answer this.
Oh,
want to.
right. This.
Because I did that.
Yes, go ahead and tell them. Fine.
Okay, so Alpha Jackal, he has some concerns about the duplicate names, right? Because someone could pretend to be someone that they're not. And we'll definitely crack down. We'll be willing to like support that stuff. But one thing that came up as a discussion was titles for these players. People who are world champions or people who are on an SPL team having specific titles granted to them that, hey, I am on this team. I am a world champion.
Yeah.
I made those titles. They're in.
They're coming.
Nice.
We
Yeah.
did them.
Oh, wow.
You will
That was quick.
have your world champion in front of your name.
Yep.
Soon.
So if you want an SWC, you will have world champion.
And did we talk about doing them for pro teams?
Yep,
or?
and the pro teams are in as well.
Pro
So
teams too.
every
Okay, cool.
single SPL player
Yep.
will have their game or their team name as an equipable title.
Yes. And that
And
was
their
Splice,
clan tag generally has
clan
the same
tag,
name,
and then
you'll be able to have
splice.
both.
Yep, and
So you could
clan
be-
tag people can try and like make it look similar.
So you'll
but
be
those titles,
SSG Barracuda if you want to be.
if you want
Show it
to,
twice. World champion. No, you
Yep.
can't equip both
No,
titles.
you can't, yeah,
Only
right.
one title. Okay.
but that is coming.
Okay. Here's a
so-
good question.
I guess it's time for Conquest to complain
Player
now.
Chat. How will ELO work for crossplay? This is
Interesting.
a good one, and I'm still talking about this with a lot of the tech team. There's two ways we could go about it, right? One is we could preserve your ELO individually per platform. So there could be an Ajax in my account, and when I merge it, there could be Ajax Xbox, and my ELO could be different, and we could save that separately. The other one is we could merge them together, either by taking the highest or by averaging them. The answer is we're still working on it. We're still looking at it. It's
Yeah.
a kind of a complicated scenario here.
That's
and
rough.
There's no concrete answer to like.
This is not
what
something
is-
anything else has done
Yeah.
before, and it's going to be a
Right.
person-to-person scenario, right?
Yeah, like for example, like some people might have relatively comparable skill between the two platforms. Others might have very different skill levels between the two platforms.
Mine would not be comparable.
And so like what is the difference, especially once people are like at their top level of playing on each platform? What is their difference? So it's something that we're actively discussing how we want to approach it.
Yeah, I believe we're trying to come up with some sort of merger system right now that
Yeah.
will weight certain platforms and won't just average the two together.
Yeah.
We'll be able to see which one you've played the majority of, estimate you there about
makes
there.
sense.
Yeah, and-
Smite is a very knowledge-heavy game, so although it can be tough to adapt to different control schemes, we believe mostly that players who are really good and really experienced will continue to be good and experienced.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good.
I mean, that's true.
But they'll be
See
somewhat as good.
Worlds 1
So
for
it's
Xbox.
looking like a merger system, but it's not officially decided yet.
And if that gets us close, as people play, that'll also self-regulate.
Right, right. Yeah. Oh man, we have a lot of questions coming in really quickly. Let me see.
We're looking at chat now.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at chat. It's tough though. No, not that.
We do have one more from, or
Pro Discord?
yeah. So there's two here.
Okay, what's the other one? Is it safe to talk about? I can't see it's on. I got
One is a UI request. Well, I guess two are UI requests, which we can talk about kind of under the umbrella of.
Will
UI that we
console
talked
be
about
able
already.
to change in-game UI? You mean the HUD
A
editor?
HUD editor.
So
right
we
now,
have,
I believe it's.
we
Oh,
have
yeah.
a limited HUD editor.
Yes.
It's essentially, do we plan on expanding more HUD
update.
editor features to console UI? That's definitely possible. It's lower on the priority list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Wonder if that's
just
still
something
planned.
that's
It should be
hard
though.
to implement. There's a lot of flexibility there. You know, the way PC moves, you can choose a lot more specific locations. That's why we did the HUD editor, the map editor, mini-map editor in a completely different way. So it's tricky. It's a lot of effort. So it's totally possible, but it's not in progress yet.
Yep.
Not anymore right now. So,
I think we had one more question, which was with Alpha Jackal.
Okay.
Spectator rework. We've also just been talking about like UI priorities in general.
Sure.
Spectator is one that we're focused on like bug fixing mostly right now.
Correct. There is no Spectator rework planned. Not a rework. We don't need to completely redo this system.
But things
Spectator
like
has
functionality.
a lot of things that does work and a lot of things that don't.
Yeah.
We have a Skillshot team getting the core Smite team during this off season of pro play a lot more specific bug reports. I'm seeing progress made on those bugs on a daily basis. I'm paying attention to all of those. They're sending us a bunch of bugs about that. A lot of it is really complicated server player connection-based transferring of information. Right? That's where a lot of the bugs come from. That is even harder to fix, but we do have people looking into that. But I know we're also fixing a bunch of little complaints about zooming doesn't work or attaching your camera here doesn't work, things like that. We're definitely fixing those.
Cool.
Cross progression MMR explained. Yes, I explained it. We're gonna probably merge your MMR in some way.
Let's see.
With so many people coming to SMITE, do you have new community or teaching workshops? I believe we're planning some more videos on how to play SMITE.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
We've been working on those. I'm not sure where those are going to come out. We also have some other new player experience, more functional gameplay stuff that we're working on.
Yep.
I don't think I can go into too much detail on that yet. We're still working on it. Man,
There's also some
chat
great,
is just flying here.
Yeah. There's also some great community content creators that have some good base level intro guides for both SMITE and Conquest or any other mode that you might be interested in.
For sure. One thing we've learned is that SMITE players, there's a lot of information when you're a new SMITE player, a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be bombarded with that. Lots of people can come to SMITE, play Arena on auto buy and auto skill, and have a great time. And then they'll learn more as they go forward. So really, when people are looking for that type of information, they're not so much new players, they're more like apprentice players or something like that, you know?
Yeah,
They're not quite...
I agree.
They're not quite level 20, maybe, something in that regard. So they start to understand the game, but then they can go seek out those resources. So it's okay to make those there.
It's not the first thing you do. Definitely not.
Available outside the game.
There's one question I saw. Ranked is solo, but Joust ranked is trio. Why the difference there?
Well, that's mostly because we thought literally nobody would play it.
Yeah.
if we stopped
that's
it.
pretty
Well,
good.
So Conquest stayed the same.
Yeah.
But in play count, but we thought Joust would actually stop. It would be defeat. It's just done.
Majority of people who play that play it as trio queues.
Yeah. So if anything, we should have made it trio only. And as a lot of people know, ranked Joust matchmaking is very difficult still.
Yeah.
Although it's a really popular mode, it's not as popular for ranked mode. It's a huge normal mode player base. And I play, I got the Joust memes. I play a lot of Joust. I get really good opponents when I play normal Joust. And when I play ranked Joust, I often wait a long time, and then there's nobody else that's as good as my team in the queue because there's just not as many people queuing it. So that's a tricky one. I wouldn't think we'd ever force it solo only because that would we think that would be the death of the mode.
Right.
But we might be looking in some of those new progression systems on ranked. That's Joust might be a good test bed for that if we decide to move forward with that. But that would be we're getting way into the future here. So I don't want to be held up for like AJ trying to design games on the fly during a Q&A.
Yep,
and then
that's
not
fair.
doing this. This is that was a brainstorming level discussion. There's no plans for that. So if you guys are really interested in that, though, I guess, voice that to us that you like that idea. So chat's going by really fast. So if you guys see something good, just grab it because I'm having a hard time. Nike. I saw Nike.
Yes.
Nike we talked about a lot, too. And I like talking about Nike because she plays real into my perception versus reality messaging here.
Yep.
Nike is the best god of the game.
Has been since her release,
in
I think.
every measurable way. But people don't play her.
Right.
And that's a problem. Right?
Yep.
Nike is a fantastic new player god, but we didn't really leverage her as a new player god well enough, like make her free, make sure new players play her, ride it through the tutorial, things like that. If we had done maybe a little bit more on that, she'd be more successful in that way. People would try her earlier and get a habit for her and like her. So she's too maybe streamlined, maybe, or just the way she plays. But the thing is, the goddess was very successful from our perspective goals, which was powerful, safe warrior with a good new player focus. Really successful at that. But we happen to have a relatively advanced community, player base. They want a little bit more. So we've talked a lot about Nike, about how to decrease her power in a couple ways and give her some new tools and shift her around to give her a little bit more, maybe like a single ability rework even. That's something we've discussed. Still something we're working on. It would probably be a couple patches away.
Yeah, we're discussing it constantly. So
probably
it's on our radar.
Nice.
Let's see.
AJ, show your socks in all caps.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, they're like
They're just like really bright colors
Nice.
today. No pattern, just a nice rainbow sock. Thank you.
One question I see being spammed is, would it be possible to fix camera being pushed into wall? I assume that's if your camera walks to the back, and there's different ways games approach this.
So,
but
like
ours
two
are-
ways really.
Yeah.
Your camera hits the wall and everything gets close to you, or your camera goes through the wall and things become invisible to you. We do the first one.
Yeah.
Your camera hits the wall, you can't go through the wall. That's probably the way it's got to stay.
Which, especially because like if you're
you have to
backing
redesign
up,
the game from the ground up for how the
yeah,
graphics.
like how things look from behind.
So no, the
making
answer
sure
is
it's very
no,
clear
we
that
won't
these areas
fix
you can
that.
stand on.
That's an intended part of the game where we don't want people to be able to see through walls. We don't want people to be able to. We want you being boxed into an area is part of the third-person experience, right?
Yeah, I
if
think
you
it's
want to be
good.
able to see everything evenly, go play one of those top-down games.
Right.
This is not that.
Just leave.
So
Go play
if you
LOL.
get boxed into an area and you're close against the wall and your camera gets harder to see. That is
part of the
completely
experience.
intended as part of
Yeah.
the fun and pressure of Smite
Gotcha.
in the third person.
I like that.
Krega 1, we are looking at both chats right now. So if we have questions that we see, we will.
All right, I got Mixer over here. You guys give me Twitch
We have
over there.
both right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got both. Add Smite lore into Learn tab so we can reread it.
It's an insane amount of text.
Elvine bad.
So
I mean, technically, it all gets added and
Bad outline.
translated.
yeah, we could do that. I do think that's a good point, and Isaiah, if you're out there taking notes, jot this down for us to compile the lore someplace, and maybe we'll put it on a website, or maybe we get it on Ask Smite Wiki to start copying it over to a section there or something like that, so you can go back and read
Yeah,
it.
especially because we're like ramping up on that a lot.
Yeah, and the lore is a bigger tool for cohesion and for design.
My Ajax mics still look
and we
quite
wanna
out.
do things that work together,
Don't look at me, Pop.
and it's less of a thing we just are trying to pitch like a novel to everybody, right?
Right.
But hopefully you get the feel of the lore coming through the game. And if you want to read the lore, that's great, and
Yep.
we do want to make that easier for you. We do want to
We
make
got a Nyane's hug the pillow.
We also got a
So-
happy birthday
No,
cozy in the chat.
No, I didn't see that. No. Nope.
the Achilles pillow is not in
Yeah,
there.
the
Everyone-
Achilles pillow's not.
I,
with us.
I
We're
did talk
going
about
right
bringing it.
past
I
this.
asked you guys. I was like, should I bring it?
Yeah, we should have brought the
right.
Achilles
We should-
pillow.
I talked about bringing it.
Best
but
designer we have.
Let's see.
Chat is moving so fast. It's
Yeah,
really
there's a
hard to
lot.
read. I'm gonna try and pause it. Just like a
Stop
random
it, guys. We heard enough. We get
If
it.
we've already answered your question, please don't continue
I
to
see
ask
you in
us.
Mixer chat. I see you.
Let's see.
You know what? Let me do. Oh no, I dropped my coconut water cap.
Siege Clash. Any plans for those?
So we only touched Conquest in 6.1,
Yeah.
which is normally
Right.
well the kill bounties affect all games.
That'll affect all games.
So
the blessings as well.
we do want to look at some balance level changes for those maps maybe.
Yep.
In the upcoming patches, but they are not decided yet. There's no major reworks planned for those modes. No major reworks. Just balance level changes are totally possible.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys have any really cool suggestions, just throw them our way. It's always something. To
So
consider.
Assault we're focusing on now, and the kill bounties are going to have effects on all games. So we
Yeah.
want to keep an eye on that first, and then we will definitely look at some of that.
Let's see. Yeah, it is scrolling really fast.
People are stoked. I'm happy to see so many people here.
Yeah.
We have a huge amount of people watching us. That's great. Season 6 is going to be awesome. Another thing I can do is pull up the other Reddit thread.
Oh yeah.
Not the Q&A one, but the actual patch notes one. There was a lot of comments there.
Will there be more bans in Ranked Conquest, or just bans in general?
We've answered this question a lot, and my
Nope.
general answer is that more bans does not mean more balance.
Yeah.
Right? More bans is just a band-aid fix in many cases, and in many cases it actually could hurt. It'll hurt variance of picks.
Right. We've talked about that.
So
for
if
sure.
there's more bans, a god that is maybe top ban
becomes
100.
100.
A god that is high ban becomes 100% ban.
Yep.
A god that's maybe top ban becomes almost never seen. And it could actually stagnate the meta much worse. A lot of people think it'll open up the meta because, oh, you can't play Baron anymore, whatever, he's strong.
Right.
Yeah.
But it could actually make the meta more stagnant in that way because we just see the same characters absolutely never available.
Yep.
And just immediately sacrificing those new ban slots. So it's something we've talked about. We'd rather balance those characters. We'd rather buff or nerf those characters.
Yeah, and we've done a pretty good job of that in Season 5, and we're going to be continuing that trend in Season 6.
And we've been targeting top ban characters. As you can see, we have, and go to smitegg.com. Pele, Hera, Freya are the top 3. And then it drops off a whole like 20% to Baka and Loki. So there's a
Yep.
like
and
the-
Bakasura got recently adjusted, and
Loki
all
got
these
some
characters
heavy
have been
nerfs.
nerfed recently. All
Yeah.
of them.
Can't believe Baka's even that high on the ban rate
Geb,
still.
I guess Geb is
Ooh,
he's sneaking up
I,
there.
somewhere
Hindu
I
won't
just
let
heard
you.
Hindu men
Yeah.
moan.
I mean, no, we know Geb is really good. We're keeping an eye on him. But
I'm fully
he's
expecting him to
not been
charge in the room
nerf
and yell at us
territory
to
yet.
not
Yeah.
nerf him.
No, I can hear him across the room now. Yeah, Geb is good. But yeah, go look for yourself in the stats. And then we get to a nice even level of a whole lot of gods in the 10, 15, 20% ban rate, which is good. So right now, going off this, extra ban wouldn't really change anything because the variance gets very high once you get 8 gods down.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, not a question, but Baron and Cupid should be healers in Assault.
I did see that, right?
So I've actually pulled. Hold on, I've got.
We
the stats.
actually
Baron
have
should
that,
be
right?
stats.
Okay, we've got the
Hold on.
stats.
I mean,
Cupid,
I haven't
nah, but
refreshed them
Baron,
in a day
yeah.
or two, maybe. This one, the healing players in Assault. So Cupid, so Sylvanas is the lowest healing god that is currently tagged as a healer.
Yes.
And he averages 12,200 player healing. 12,000.
Yes.
So he's the lowest. Hel is the highest, and she averages 24,000.
Yes.
Okay,
So
wow.
the difference between the lowest and the highest healer right now is pretty significant, actually.
Yes.
That's important for our data here. Baron is the next highest that's not a healer. Which,
Yes.
right, he's the one who brings up this discussion all the time. He's at 8,000.
Okay.
But he's
That's
also more of a
pretty
combat
good
healer.
75%
Yeah, it's roughly
Of-
75%.
of Sylvanas' healing.
Sylvanas, who is a healer.
Yeah. And then Cupid, much even lower, 6.8.
So about half, a little
Yeah.
bit less, a little bit more than.
And then it drops off really heavily to Isis, Chiron, RTO, Hades. So Baron and Cupid would be the only two that would be
Yeah.
worth checking.
And they're as close to Sylvanas as they are close
But
to
if
Isis.
if you got Baron as a healer against Hel, how would you feel?
Yeah. I mean,
I guess if you get anyone, let's not use Hel as an
Just
example.
old Hel.
Against like,
Who's
against
below
like
Hel?
Guan or Terra or Chang'e or Ra.
Well, she
We're all high.
cleanses.
Would Baron
Sylvanas.
heal? Like, the thing is with we've always kind of said with Assault, with this rule. First of all, this rule we added to overbalance Assault in the first place. Assault should really could be random. But
Yeah, you really should be able to get 3 healers versus none. But
That was my phone.
but
Sorry
that's
about
just
that.
not fun, so it's worth. But then we didn't like taking heals that were too conditional and making them healers. So Baron could be a healer, but he can't heal people unless he hits opponents. So that just makes him play extremely differently than the other gods that are tagged as healers.
right.
Yeah.
Now Cupid can do that, but his healing is just much worse. It's half of the lowest healer.
Yep.
So he fits the rules, but his healing is just so low. Baron doesn't fit the rules, but his healing is a little closer. It's definitely
Also,
a-
Baron's healing is the most significant because
I
it
can
heals
see
in.
where we make them healers, but
like
I
with the
feel like we
percentage,
end up with a lot
heals
of
in bad
equally
situations.
bad matches in the other.
Yeah.
But
way.
also you got
No,
nerfed
no,
also.
People complaining about the other way.
Yeah. So it's a tough call, but now you have the idea. Baron is essentially 75% of the worst healer right now, and he has to hit opponents.
All I'm hearing is buff Cupid. Isn't Cupid actually really high on the casual stats?
I believe he is.
Is he one of the
Cupid
best
is
hunters
sleeper.
in the game? I think.
Yeah, whenever I do my next stat reports, we'll tell the community how sleeper. Like, if you assume a god is bad, then you should probably be playing them because they're actually really strong. All of our strongest gods in the game statistically are sleepers.
So I looked that up. I did see a question about new VGS commands.
So we don't really plan on bringing
Nope.
new VGS commands to the game.
Yep.
Because we could never support the voice acting for it. If we do bring a new VGS command to the game, it would have to be default only. And it would
Right.
ever have to be default only.
Yeah.
But then we'd get players buying voice packs and using this line and being like, why doesn't this work? And then we'd have all these fake bug reports, and then our customer service is ready to kick down our door.
At this point, we have to call
complicated
back like hundreds. Of
Oh
voice
yeah.
actors.
No, it's
not possible.
It's impossible. Of all of the things people have asked us to do,
Some are still
recording
jailed.
one line from 1,000 different actors is the most impossible thing.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
should have to get like one really flexible guy to be like,
I
you know,
mean-
deep voice, medium voice, high voice.
Well, the skins
Online
as well.
matchmaking will be perfect is an easier thing to, which no game has ever solved. Those seem to me like equal difficulty tasks. Yeah, that's a really tough one.
Which is unfortunate, but
So I was gonna pull up. Oh, you know
It's the
another
reality
idea I
of-
thought would be
of
funny
game
is just
dev.
looking at Reddit's by new and just like answering questions there.
Reddit by new.
Yeah,
That's scary.
yeah.
Oh,
There's some
man.
pretty. There's some. There's
Ooh, I
some
saw-
interesting stuff in here.
I saw a cool question that we can't talk about.
Oh.
Sorry.
Huh.
Rip. I would love to talk about that one, but I can't.
Oh god, it is going by fast.
It is. Let's see.
Triple charge, we apologize.
Ajax, no, you're gonna bring my Reddit. Sorry, Triple.
Hey Pond, isn't that neat?
It is
No.
super neat.
I was gonna go to the.
How are these the ones that I'm seeing?
The
Oh,
patch
God.
notes thread.
Will Guardian's Blessing be looked at for solo meta if the solo meta doesn't
No,
change?
they already said that.
If
Someone.
the solo meta doesn't change, definitely we'll look at it.
Yeah, so things that we have going for
But they wanna-
Guardian's Blessing.
They have
solo
got
lane
Warrior's
is
Blessing
warriors all
buffed,
got these
so-
stat buffs. Few targeted warriors got buffs. You have the hammer tree, which is significantly improved. You have a few other small items that generally warriors are building. That's a bit improved. You got Warrior's Blessing improved. It's possible. You also have the Totem of Ku.
Yep, the totem.
So all those things we think favor warriors being more aggressive, pushing forward, and getting those objectives for their team. It could be that that's not how it actually pans out. Smite's super complicated game. There's a lot of strategies that discovered. In fact, like Warrior's Blessing, like Guardian's Blessing solo lane was a thing that started at 5-1, and people just largely discredited.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
then
We
it
talked.
came
We were
back
worried
later.
about it.
We
yeah.
were, right.
We talked
Um,
about it a lot.
So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of shakes out. But we are watching it. We are aware that the passive play style is something that people are not super into. So
But if things don't work, we will look at that. One thing was we wanted to be careful not to hurt the quality of life of supports. So there's a lot of there. Although people discount these situations, there are situations where support can get those stacks by themselves. When their hunter might have died, if they rotate to another lane, they're waiting for people, etc., like that. So we didn't really want to try to hurt support quality of life just to bump out this edge strategy in solo lane.
But we definitely have our eyes on it.
But yeah, very much.
Definitely make sure.
So I've got the Reddit patch notes thread now because I already went through the Q&A thread, but there's a patch notes thread. I'm trying to pull up some questions for, but Clumsy found a good question.
I see a lot of people in the chat spamming about console text chat.
That will be supported when we get around to console keyboard support. I believe those will come together. That's going to be a few patches away, but we are planning on doing console text chat, yes.
I want to try and go back and
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. And we're going to
trying to see if there's any good questions now.
I destroyed chat. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Mixer chat.
You're never going to be able to find that question again.
No, I saw it, and I think that would be a cool one to talk about.
You can't remember it?
I mean, it scrolled by, and
everyone ask your questions again.
I think the question was, were there any gods in development that we ended up canceling that we could talk about? And I don't think so.
We can't talk about any of them. If there were, there aren't that many.
Well, there is like the super early ones.
Sure, way back in the day.
Right, we had this question before as well.
Yeah, and a few concepts that we had that were like ideas for characters.
Like I said, I've shared a lot of things that I've pitched.
Yeah.
And then, but when I say I've pitched, I mean we've pitched. Like I would work together with Bon and Clumsy for a lot of these god pitches, and then I present them to the team. But it's us.
Yeah, there's a question. Any new gods you pitched that got canceled?
Yeah, I mean we talked about the Arthurian ones.
There was a couple gods that have been rearranged in the schedule, but nothing's been canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were planning on doing. And there's a lot of gods that I go to the pitch phase.
Right.
But don't
we just went over all the Arthurian ones.
Yeah,
exactly.
I listed a bunch of them, and maybe later this year I can talk about some of the other ones that we pitched that didn't get through pitch phase. We were pretty certain, and with Baron, we wanted to be our voodoo god, so we didn't pitch a lot of other voodoo gods along with him, like I did with Arthurian. Same thing with Chernobog.
Yep, Chernobog.
We didn't pitch too many other Slavic gods to go with him.
Pele was pretty much.
Pele had one key contender.
Yes, there was one key contender which everyone
talks about, which is Maui. Who is still definitely on our list of gods to explore in the future, but not officially on the schedule
yet. Revisiting Pantheons,
Yeah, so he's a possibility, but he's not on the schedule currently.
Let's see.
Loading screen stats for gods. We talked about that previously because I see you spamming it a lot. Maybe
people will continue to spam things even though they want to.
Let's see.
Some of these don't make sense to me.
Me when I read my comments.
Scotty Ult question mark.
Some of these don't make sense.
Scotty Ult buffs.
Okay,
I'm very aware of that.
Okay.
Isn't she also one of the best hunters?
Yeah, she's actually a pretty good hunter. And if you go to SMITE GG and sort by win rate, you will see that Scotty is like the winningest.
You need like a little soundboard button.
I mean, we buffed Kernanos, and he's up here on the win rate actually too. So, but he had other feels reasons, and so does Scotty. So Arachne is up here too, and I don't want to get into a whole thing about how Arachne is strong. You guys don't know how that conversation goes. But Scotty is actually pretty strong too. But I understand that her ultimate feels lackluster, so we've discussed that too. I'll go ahead and jot that down.
I need to write a note because someone in chat reminded me of something that
we are taking notes on these things.
Yeah,
a lot of these things are stuff we've already had in our notes and things we've been discussing a lot, like
we can
Freya, Guardian's Blessing. What are we talking about now?
Code.
I want to put Scotty on our notes too.
But you can't.
No, it's literally just a category type.
Okay, no, we can look into that. Yeah, that's a good thing to note. Community did good jobs.
No, not in regards to that, but if you get the thing, we could.
Sure, but you can't ever.
I see a lot of people asking about the ranked frame and skin.
Yes.
This I can get that art to Isaiah to tweet out early, but it's going to be shown on the patch notes next week.
Yep.
And then you're going to have Season 5 ranked. The time in game is not accurate. That should have been updated, actually.
Yeah.
So you'll have all the way until Season 6 starts to earn fantasy points towards Demonic Thanatos and the fantasy point store. You'll be able to earn your ranked rewards. So you'll have a little bit more time to get those. So we'll show you those.
Time to grind ranked.
Next week, most likely. Or I could get Isaiah to tweet them out today, maybe. And we'll it'll be themed around the Guan Yu Gladiator, though. Okay. And you'll see that skin in game on Monday. or Tuesday.
Couple things here I see that I just want to get out of the way. Merlin, guys, we're not talking about him anymore, so you're not going to get any more ability answers. Tune in next week to see his full release.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Baba Yaga. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the contenders, I guess, at the same time as Chernobog, but...
Yeah, kind of. She wasn't as close as Chernobog was, but she's someone we've talked about exploring in the future, for sure.
Right. So definitely, you know, something
Any
for a later
plans for a
possibly.
Pantheon that include like Bigfoot?
That's not currently planned.
What?
The Loch Ness monster?
Well, the
Did I mess up my microphone?
Or it's
I hear you.
what's the terminology? There's a terminology for people who go hunting like Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah, like cryptozoology or something
Yeah.
like
When they
Cryptozoology Pantheon?
that? Oh, God. Is that even the right term? I feel... I don't know.
No, that sounds right. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Do I sound okay to you guys?
Yeah, you sound fine to
Because
us.
I'm getting some staticky in my ears.
Well, that's
I
not
think
good.
I bumped a wire or something.
Oh no,
It's okay.
we're basically like sitting on wires.
We're okay.
I
Carrying
just-
on. This is a nice. This is a nice
Mic
setup. We got
headset
good
is
camera
dropping
quality,
down
we
as
got
well,
good
it's just
latency,
like-
it's all good.
Down here now.
Oh, that's a good point. The backdoor protections effects should not be Conquest only, but we can double check.
It will. That will be. That's
That
a
very much
game-wide
should be a
rule
game-wide
Yeah.
and a game-wide visualization. Yeah.
Which that was actually one thing that we didn't get to really talk about on the patch notes show as much, but we have backdoor protections being visible,
Yep.
clear radius of the Oracle, the buffs to the different Fury buffs are being visible. We have the Pyromancer getting a little.
What's the word? I can't say it correctly.
It's
Brazier.
Brazier. Or
Yeah.
just say torch or
Yeah,
cauldron.
The cauldron.
But that we did a lot of just gameplay clarity stuff.
Yes.
That should make things much more intuitive. It's easier to understand what's happening and going on. And we didn't get to really talk. We talked about the things, but we didn't kind of put them under the umbrella of clarity.
Right.
We'd like to focus our questions towards Season 6 balance, if you guys can.
Yeah,
we
we
see a
got
lot
about-
of people just asking for future, like, big release stuff. It's not really... I see some exciting questions, but stuff we can't answer right now.
Unbanned reward skin. So that's one if you weren't banned.
We haven't revealed that yet.
Yes.
That'll be revealed. It's a Baron Samedi skin. We've said
Yes.
that.
Ooh.
That'll
not-
be revealed on the patch show.
Yep.
Nice.
Tune in then.
Yep.
I like how they now call the
Slightly
fourth
not
patch notes show the
to
patch notes show.
particular game
What?
mode, I don't believe.
No, match of the day. No, we're not trying to plan too many new game modes.
Yeah, just the two of us. is
I
a
see
pretty
a lot of
common
people
match today.
asking about reworks still. I've talked about reworks a lot. We don't really like reworks. They don't bring much joy to people. People who want Loki rework, we don't think that that's the right way to... I just don't know the answer to that at all.
That's
so,
fair.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it, but I don't know the answer, so I can't really be helpful. But anyone asking about reworks of any kind, the answer is no. We don't have any planned reworks right now. The most would be slight shifts, kind of like the way I described Nike, or kind of the new mechanic we add to like Arachne. Things
Yeah, that
like
one's
that
cool.
are maybe, but there's no new reworks planned. So
Yeah.
I feel like reworks are mostly asked by people who don't like the god and just want to ruin someone else's day, as opposed to people who want new gameplay for themselves. So
Right.
reworks have been a questionable success. So
Well, it's interesting because reworks, you have to balance the idea that you want to try and keep the character, for people who are really big fans of the character, you want to try and keep that kind of gameplay alive. But if you're reworking it, there's something fundamentally about the gameplay that you want to rework.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to find it's still fun for everyone who liked that character, but now also fun for new players that for some reason didn't really like it in the first place.
it is. It's tricky. So
You
don't
definitely
have,
run the risk of making people upset.
we don't have that planned. I think, did I unhook my microphone completely now?
No,
I'll
I
still
can hear you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
They would definitely be typing Fs in the chat if they couldn't hear you. They were doing that for when I muted myself.
Yeah. So a lot of people always say the old god is better or whatever. You know, that may be true. That's exactly the problem we're trying to avoid.
Yes.
Reset status option. Someone just keeps spamming in all caps. I have no idea what you mean by that. So is that
So
there was a button to clear your typeable status in the friends list? Is that what they're saying?
I'm pretty sure if you just clear it and hit enter,
I
it
just
saves.
You know, keep spamming, bro. But I have no clue what you're talking about.
I don't know exactly how the season ends, so I can't really comment on that. Let's see. Robin becoming a warrior again. I think he actually fits pretty well in his assassin spot now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
I saw my name somewhere, but it disappeared instantly.
Yep, it's gone. Forever.
I like how they just ignored the question. They're just staring.
Let's see.
I would
See, this
too.
Are
one
you guys
being
afraid
spammed
of
a
tank
lot.
meta for Season 6? That's a Season 6 bounce
Okay.
question.
That's a good question. I mean,
Ooh.
the answer is yes. We're always afraid of tank meta. I just don't hear anything in my
Oh, you don't hear
headset, but
us?
it sounds like you guys can still hear me.
Yeah, we can definitely still hear you.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry. Let me fix this. It's all backwards. I thought this was on the wrong side too. I was supposed to have it on this side so I can show
Yeah,
my
yeah.
face. That's just the trick of the trade if I was a caster. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm a
if I
design-
turn this way,
I'm
you
a
should see my
designer.
face.
Did not
I'm
get
a
that.
noob. You did it right though.
I did that by
Just
pure
on
chance.
accident. Yeah. Anyway,
fact, this
what were we
cable
talking about? Tank meta. Okay, so yes, we are scared of tank meta as a concept.
Yes.
Tank meta is not good for the game. Some people complain about burst meta. Some people complain about
Heal
tank
meta.
meta. We have found that over the history of Smite, the tank meta is a much worse state for the game to be in. That's gonna. I'm talking. It's gonna hurt our.
No, he's really
players,
quiet.
It's gonna hurt our balance. It's gonna hurt everything. Tank meta is worse than burst meta. So that's kind of part of the reason we designed those scaling anti-tank items. They're designed to be better against tanks than other characters in the game. Maybe that's an area we still need to look at more closely in balance. We've seen a lot of discussion about Obsidian Shard and Titan's Bane. We're going to continue looking at that.
They're not gonna matter if
Should not
health
be so
items
good
become
against
the new
switches,
meta though.
And they should be better against tanks. So we've installed some things in the game to auto-correct. So
Yes.
if those items are in the right level of balance,
If we
they
get to
tank
a
meta
point
have
of
pop-
kins,
we don't even need to make balance changes because people just start picking up those anti-tank items more frequently.
Yeah.
And the meta balances itself out.
Yeah,
again.
Chin size has seen limited use, but if tank meta became a thing, it'd see a lot more use. Titan's Bane has seen limited use, it'd see a lot more. Mages already have a pretty strong tool in Obsidian Shard.
So it's been interesting to see the Season 6
and
discussion.
no
evolve
ability
because
based
we had-
from physicals.
And two immediate reactions. One, people looking at the changes and saying tank meta is going to happen. And one, people looking at the changes and saying, you need to nerf penetration way harder.
Yeah, we
which
have
are
a very-
completely opposite
Yep.
opinions. And that's a nature of a complicated game like a MOBA. It's hard
Yeah.
to just look at a pile of changes and see how things are going to work. We all got that lesson on Arthur, right?
I mean,
we all looked at Arthur.
I think
all
what was-
y'all looked at Arthur
even,
and you were like,
sure.
easy OP. Not the case.
even
So-
for Season 5 when Masks came out, everyone's like, we had the completely, polarizing opinions of like, these are
Yeah.
broken, these are going to be underpowered.
They actually
They really
they
said
were
pretty good
close.
spot. Yeah,
They are
really said
pretty
pretty good
close.
spot.
They're kind of exactly what we wanted masks to be.
Yeah,
they're
they-
not super popular, but they're
Absolutely.
really cool when you use them well.
Yep.
So tank meta is something we'll definitely be watching for, and if it occurs, we will be very careful to adjust it if it needs to be. But we don't think that the Season 6 patch notes are not intended to create a tank meta.
Yeah, not
They're not intended to do that. They're intended to nerf a frustration item from mages
Soul
that was
Reaver
doing
was
too much
definitely too
damage
strong.
to everyone.
Yeah.
And they're intended to buff the warrior class because they were the most struggling. And
Yep, they were
although the base
underrepresented.
stats can seem slight, those add up, and that's the first. We don't really do widespread changes like that before, so we thought that was something really interesting and something that would feel very satisfying. And if it's and we also buffed a few warriors individually, so if that's not good enough, we're making specific targeted changes as well. So we'll continue that path if we need to. Idea for Conquest. Would it be possible to make ranked Conquest 5 stack only? I'm surprised
Oh,
we
no.
keep getting this
So-
question. The answer is no.
So if we want to talk about constraints, that is one of the biggest constraints you could put on.
You'll be sitting in Matchmaker forever. You won't find a good match.
Yeah, I mean, even
There's
just-
not enough people queuing 5-man
If
Conquest.
you play a 5 stack
won't
of
be.
just normal Conquest, the quality of that is very, very odd. Especially
I
during the
find
time of
normal
day.
Conquest, you get pretty good
For- with
matches.
the 5
I think.
stack?
Yeah, I play a 5 stack a lot of times. It can be, there's
think it's the
times
time
of the
of
day
day.
and stuff like that where
Yeah.
you won't
Yeah.
be able to find another good team. Or sometimes you'll find a good team and you'll end up playing them multiple times in a row.
Sure, that's kind of okay. I'll actually
yeah.
enjoy those circumstances. but-
So yeah, that's just not really feasible. So I know we get the question all the time, so it's always good to answer it
Oh,
again. But
we
the answer is
never
no
addressed this.
5v5 Conquest.
I saw it spammed a lot. Ajax, thank you for Jingwei. That was definitely one of
Yeah.
the ones that.
The Jingwei is super fun. Oh hey fam, my Jingwei
Yep,
fam.
there it is. It's everywhere.
You guys are savage.
Let's see.
Yes, Merlin will be 6-1, guys.
Absolute unit.
Can all tier 5 skins get an option to change between the forms? We might do that on future ones, maybe. But they don't always apply, like Bologna. She had
Right.
different metrics of
It's not the
transforming,
same,
so
yeah.
maybe if we do another leveling one, maybe we'll try that.
We'll keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot that goes into. It's not just a simple revert. It would be a lot of new tech that.
Yeah, so we probably won't ever add it to old skins, but we probably could apply it to new
Yeah,
tier 5s.
Ares was built from the ground up with that idea.
Yeah.
A physical counterpart to Rod of Asclepius.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I'd-
so the improve
more
for like
healing
Guan.
items.
That's, I mean,
So a lot
Very
of people,
niche.
I've seen that suggestion come up a lot, and a lot of people equate it to old Gauntlet of Thebes, which
Ah.
apparently there is a small following for on social media, but statistically, nobody bought that item. And when I say nobody, I mean nobody bought that item. Nobody. So, whoever's out there spamming chat, you're doing a good job making your voice heard, but that is not an effect we saw that was very popular when it was in the game, so we don't really see a lot of reason to bring it back.
It's
also,
also
Guan Yu's the only physical healer.
Yeah, you could.
But it was healing received on you, so you could play like a Herc Afro lane and buy it on your Herc to improve the Afro's heals. Which is an interesting concept, but it just was so narrow in its application.
Yeah, it's a bit too like too specific.
But it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe sometime in the future.
I like it.
Another
I
people
like
asking
it.
us to nerf power pen. So, we have people on both sides, and we're probably going to leave where we're at right now, since we seem to have an even amount of people on both sides of the argument.
Yeah,
Right.
We have a pretty long list of things that we have as like people we're discussing and topics that we want to like address, but that's something that I think we want to look at really for once you guys actually have your hands on the game, play it, see what really shakes out to be the clear winners, clear losers.
I mean, we're just in the discussion phase right now. PTS is coming up, and we're going to definitely gather a lot of feedback from there. And then it's not like we're going to stop bouncing the game after Season 6 hits. So
we're done. Of course, nailed it.
We nailed it. Let's go.
I mean, balance has been very good recently, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to try and keep on that path, and sometimes that'll require heavier hand, and sometimes it won't.
Is 10 base HP on warriors a lot or not? Well, 10 alone is not. The additional 60 you get that is also part of that change is
per level.
It basically like base stats are one of those things that like it doesn't sound impressive on paper, but they fundamentally change the strength of a character in every situation.
Right.
Not just like a conditional if you hit a skill shot, but every single time you hit this person, they will have more health.
Yeah.
Think of any time you got away with 5 or 7 health. That's the difference that 10 health makes. That's the difference 30 health makes, and especially as you build protections, it highlights on. It's a big buff.
Angelic skins. We do have one coming up. Pawn, someone asked about Arthur and Ward interaction.
That is something we are looking at.
Angelic Bacchus,
the
please.
way it works is he tries to check if he stops, if like there's a target he can hit. Wards don't have collision in the same way. That is something we are looking at.
Angelic Bacchus said has wings when he flops.
We plan on making that
easier.
We plan on improving the quality of life there, but it might not be ready for 6.1.
That might not be ready for 6.1 because we were prioritizing some higher bugs.
But 6.2.
Yeah.
Or,
as a small workaround temporarily, if you hold backwards, this is something like a lot of people don't know. If you hold backwards, you actually don't charge. You don't charge forward at all. So if you're fighting that, just kind of hold back really quick to do the auto. It's not ideal, clearly. We definitely want to improve it, but that is a small workaround until we can get that into your guys' hands.
Cool. I just see some other quick ones. I'll try and rapid fire.
Okay,
When is PTS?
Blank.
It'll be next week, probably Tuesday. PTS for console. We have started discussions about making that possible. I'm not sure when it's happening.
PTS for EU.
Working toward it.
Please.
PlayStation 4, I can't not share anything else about it. I just that we want to bring it to the cross-play and cross-progression to PlayStation. We're just waiting for business things to be worked out. I have no other details besides that. Will you ever bring back DuoQ? The answer is maybe. We already talked about that.
Pawn is how does bees interact with King Arthur's ultimate?
Oh yeah, so that's actually really neat. We had
drop
to
down.
decide what was going to happen when you beads.
You still take the damage from the last hit.
If you beads, so if you beads before you get hit,
Showed that on the patch notes,
you
though.
will be immune to it. You won't go in the air.
Right.
If you beads after you're hit, we let you drop early. It just progresses Arthur immediately to the final slam. So he actually will, like, no matter where he is in his swings, he'll just immediately final slam you to the ground. So if you need to get out of his ultimate quickly, if you want to avoid all the slash damage, you can. But if you have been hit, you're going to be hit a little bit.
Okay, that's cool.
I've seen a lot of other people ask us just about nerfing gods or buffing gods. Some of them that were highly discussed, like we already talked about, like Freya. Another one I saw come up a lot was Opwatch. We nerfed Opwatch really hard not that long ago, so we do not feel he needs another nerf. I was actually really surprised to see pro players tell me that Opwatch is still strong, because I can see their games, they're not playing him. They're not playing him, and they're not winning with him right now.
We've statistically seen his win rate go down pretty severely after that nerf, I think.
Yeah, he went down pretty good. He's still in a balanced state. I think he's playable. But he went down significantly from his Worlds performance, so we don't see another reason to adjust him.
There was one that was, any ideas for more anti-heal items? I think we have a pretty good spread right now.
Oh, please not.
We've talked about reworking Toxic Blade a few times.
Yes.
Toxic Blade didn't quite do what we hoped it would. That was kind of the alternate physical.
But at the same time, who was it in the balance meeting just before this? Someone was saying, you know what was actually, I think it was Tolly. He was saying, Toxic Blade is actually pretty sleeper, and the stats look really good on it. So Maybe he just needs a little bit of a...
Or the right god, you know.
Yeah.
If it's a healing meta and Osiris and Bellona come back or something, gods who could really utilize that basic attacks proc, maybe it'd be good. But that would maybe be where we flex with it. But healers are very sensitive audience of the SMITE player base, so they don't take kindly to more anti-heals.
And there's a good amount of options there to mitigate the impact they have. If there's a heavy healer team,
the
options
tough part
exist.
is it's hard to add something like that without feeling like we're really one-sided towards healing. But healing is really, really strong in SMITE.
Yeah.
It still is really strong. It's very strong in its current state. So I think we could add another anti-heal items, but then we'd get a lot of heat about killing healing, and then we have to buff healing.
Yeah,
and healing is already good. It's a really tricky
anti-heal
thing.
is in one of the best spots it's been, I think. Especially with Cursed Ankh that exists as well.
I'm seeing a lot of message about fixing UI for other resolutions, screen aspect ratios. That is the intended design right now, to have those borders. But when you get into a match, those go away. The client is just fit to a specific size. I'm talking with the team about what other options we have to show you that. But that is working as intended, and it works in the match. You don't have that problem. So it's just in the client side where we constrain the screen to keep all the menus where we like to. So, but we'll see maybe if we can try a different presentation there.
I see a lot of people asking about this one. We might as well just answer it as well. Is that currently Ratatoskr's Acorn as well as Speed Elixir, they do not stack together, but we can also revisit this and have a look at whether we want to allow this interaction.
Yeah, that's something that like
probably should.
Ratatoskr is specifically, and we talked about this a little bit when Hindu brought it up, is he's very early game, and that's kind of anti to what the Speed Elixir is. The Acorn that you get is a very early game specific buff. I think the only thing you could really do is make it so they stack on top of each other, but then you have a rat running around with a lot of speed.
Yeah, and
real
I
fast.
don't think we'd want you to sell the Acorn either.
Yeah, and selling the Acorn would be an alternate answer, but like that.
But you totally could sell the Acorn and get like a very expensive, like a Mantle of Discord or something.
I
Like
mean,
that would be a
it's
big
possibility.
upgrade in a lot of cases. So it's not
You
like
just have to enable
it's
that.
not like he can't use it.
Currently, he cannot sell his Acorn.
Yeah.
Oh, so we'd have to add that.
We'd have to
Okay,
add
that's
that
my bad. I'm
functionality.
sorry, I misspoke. Yeah, so that would be the easiest fix.
Right.
A really
Let him
logical
sell the
fix as
And
well.
allow those two things to work.
That would be the
currently.
easiest fix.
And I mean,
So
if
I
we
would
see
say
enough-
we're totally.
But you lose the
considering
heal.
that, and
Okay,
I'm gonna go
cool.
ahead and put a note on my rough patch notes.
You have to
for
make
that
sure
as
you
well.
can't sell the first one because the auto gets it, so that can't have any gold.
Yeah, you can only sell the
Yeah.
third version.
Dude, new meta. Sell your rank 1 Acorn.
No,
Buy
no,
the
no,
2000 speed pot at level
no.
0.
We're
Have the worst jungle clear in the game.
Could you
Do
rebuy it?
something.
my friends have been talking to me already about how they want to just like fit it into the middle of their game somewhere and sell their boots. I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work out.
Hey, try it. Try it.
Try it.
I want
to
do it,
I
but I
don't
don't
see
think
where
it
it works.
We're excited to see you guys try
If
that.
someone
Jordy,
can make it
try
work,
it.
I'll be amazed.
Boys and girls of Smiteville, try it.
That's a challenge.
Another one we
Thanatos,
see,
because
yes,
it doesn't
is
really need
expanded
items
a
that
lot.
much.
Is we've talked about Scotty, how she's
What
in
did they
an
know?
interesting spot.
There's a specific complaint they're spamming a lot.
There's two
Calder
things.
staying on
target
target
after he dies so that you can use the ultimate properly.
a couple of seconds after
Yeah.
his death. Nah, just get good. Time it.
Because he
Time
comes,
it earlier.
he comes back, but you still have the
Time
chance to
it
use your
earlier.
ultimate
We're not
to
doing
bring him back
that.
to
We're
life.
not doing that.
And the alt roots, so it should
How will
still work
clans
out.
be different? You will be able to have all cross-platform clans.
Oh,
That's
When,
cool.
That might not be in 6.1, but that's something we'll be looking towards. But just as I can invite a friend from any platform, you'll be able to invite a person to your clan from any platform. So you can have
Hope
one
it's visible
clan.
who is on which
So if you
platform.
were previously part of a big community that had an Xbox version and a PC version of your clan, those leaders of those communities can go ahead and delete one, merge it, move everybody over.
Yep.
Rename it to just clan. Boom.
just clan.
You know, whatever clan. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Guys, I've already talked about PS4 a few times. Sorry if you keep asking. Primal Fury seems weak. He is kind of the lower end of the Primal Fury.
Primal
of the
Fury,
Furies.
right.
That's okay. He's got a very specific jungle buff, but we're buffing. Keep in mind, we're buffing the entire jungle's tankiness.
Yes, I think that's a
So,
very important note. to
feel
look
And
this
at.
out.
enhanced FG is going to be
Enhanced FG will
And
be
it's
tanky.
also if
Jungle
it's
will be
okay
tanky.
for one to be a little not as good as the other on paper.
Yeah.
That's part of the experience of the extra variance that's going to happen in this, and the
Yes.
extra player decision. Like, it's kind of absurd to think that we're going to add these extremely unique stats and tactical advantages, and they'll all be perfectly equally
Right.
balanced in everyone's
Yeah.
opinion. That's crazy.
Yeah, and at the same time, like I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, is that if you have 2 stacks of the Primal Fury buff and you can now do extra damage to Fire Giant and it's 40 minutes to the game, that decision might make or break whether you win.
Yeah, that also means like your mage's super ult is going to secure it.
Right.
Like it just will. It'll beat out anyone else's.
So I
damage.
definitely think it's the most subtle out of all of them, but I
Yeah.
still think it has a high potential.
It's permanent versus one time, which is
Right.
also the difference between them.
So I've seen a couple mentions about itemization in 6.1, and I want to make it clear that we did this very intentionally. Adding new items has a really high impact on the game because almost any god can use it. If it's a tank item, no power,
You're right.
anybody can use it. So items have really high variance, really high risk to add to the game, and they also add to the game's complexity immensely because it affects every god. So what we chose to do instead this season, instead of adding a bunch of new items, and by the way, whenever we add a bunch of new items, maybe a couple of them get popular, but most of them people don't want to break out of their current builds, or they don't believe in the new passive, so they don't even buy them. So items are just kind of a bullet point on a text and not
Don't
much else
believe in it.
in a lot of cases. So we purposely kept Season 6 to be a little less new items. We targeted the really unpopular ones.
Yeah, I mean, the hammers have brought new life to them, really.
Right, for reworks and
Definitely.
buffs. So it's, even though speed was the
Like
only
I said, it was the most
elixir
dead
was the
item tree.
real new thing. Malice, most of the hammer tree, Gauntlet of Themes getting buffed. Like, a lot of those things are buffs that are going to have big impacts on the meta, and we can do that, and we can add big meta shifts and have a lot of interesting interactions in the game without just creating new items that can make our complexity really crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, you have all those new items to play with. You've got the god changes, and you've got the, I mean, if you're Conquest players, you've got all the new Conquest stuff to play around with a lot. There's a lot that's going to be changing in Season 6.
For a lot of people, Runeforge and Blackthorn Hammer are going to be new items.
Right, exactly. I mean, but Runeforge...
Yeah, no, very much so.
Yeah, Doom Orb.
Doom Orb is...
I'm sad we didn't keep the
yeah, I mean,
name.
the previous name for Doom
Yeah,
Orb and Work in Progress was...
Yeah, when it was Work in Progress, we had Doomer Orb and Doomer Orb.
Yeah.
Can't
keep
keep that.
I would have
Why
liked
can't we
it.
keep Doomer
that.
Orb?
Because that's ridiculous.
I like that.
But no, the real reason, I can't remember, I think Hindu said it, is that we need a Doomist Orb.
Yeah.
Doomiest.
Doomiest.
Well, we did have Creeping Curse, Creepier Curse.
And
That was-
creepiest.
Did we have that?
No, no,
No, we
but-
had Creepier Curse.
Yeah,
Creepier Curse.
Creepier
Yep,
Curse
yep.
and Creeping Curse.
No,
Yeah, our
but
temp names are interesting.
Yeah.
I think that was closed.
Stone of Foul item get a rework. We talked about that one a lot. It's
A lot.
It's on our list of things. That's a one that just barely didn't make it on the patch notes. We weren't really happy with our prototype iterations.
So,
people ask
6-2.
us a lot about gods that didn't make it, but that really never happens.
Right.
But items all the time.
Oh,
we
all the
pitch up
time.
new ways for the item to occur, and as we've discovered as your game grows, it's very hard to come up with new item passives that feel different and feel powerful and are not frustrating, or have too many complexities or
Or
problems.
it doesn't
with.
just bump another item completely out of the game.
Right, exactly. But so we weren't really happy with a lot of the tests we did on Stonefall, but we're gonna definitely keep talking about it. Artemis buff. Do
That's
we
an
need
old
Artemis
spectral
buff?
ammo
I've
back.
seen people spamming Artemis buff. She was really good.
She was really strong at the start of the season.
Well, she's been historically super sleeper, and no one believes this when I say she's good.
Frostbound Runeforged Hammer.
Oh,
She
yeah,
might
if you
actually
go that
be really
build.
good.
Like I've
She
actually
became pro meta for a while, right? And
I
then we
somewhat-
nerfed her just a little bit.
For
Yeah.
like the first half of Season 5.
I somewhat troll around with Runeforged Hammer Artemis with
Oh, I
high
think
crit
it's
damage,
so much fun.
and actually with 55 power, that might not be the worst thing in the world now.
Especially when
6
Poison
slot
Star was pretty
build.
good as well.
It
that
might
would
Yeah.
Yeah.
automatically work to
If
capacity.
hunters start building Runeforged core, we're gonna have to nerf it.
Artemis only because her passive
You know what,
interacts
we'll
with it.
put it on the we'll give it the ranged melee
Oh yeah.
shift shifter.
okay, there we go.
So hey hunters,
Thinking about it, you.
don't go breaking that stuff for everybody else.
That would actually work though with 6
The
slot
last change to Artemis.
Runeforged
Nerfed her.
crit.
I
That
want
could-
to say it was the Tusky CC duration.
That was, yeah, that was pretty big.
That could
Recent
work.
nerf, though?
Rage, Poison Star, Deathbringer,
What
Runeforged.
was that? We nerfed the how long she has CC immunity while
So we
she's
reworked her
Huskies.
passive to be Runeforged Hammer.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is why you stack them and it's
And
great.
That was it. That was the most recent change. Then the Caledonian board change
Was
was the
the
patch
nerf.
before it. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 seconds to 1.5. So we can look up some more specifics.
No,
about
Ajax is quiet again. These mics, man. This
But the goddess
Ugh.
is generally pretty strong in a lot of ways still. Maybe not at the highest level of competition play now because of that loss of CC immunity, but
Just to stop someone from spamming it, the tooltip issue that someone's saying on for Arthur, that one's known, it's already documented, it's already fixed. You'll get that in 6.1. Done.
Spectral versus Nemean, stats are close now. Yeah, Spectral still makes you take less damage from crits than Nemean does. Nemean does other things, so they can be similar, but they still do very different things.
Whoever's spamming, I'm not quite sure what you mean about what about Surtur.
Someone just typed a paragraph, man. You gotta shorten that if you want to answer. Shorten it.
Buff
Aphrodite-
Kerberos?
Aphrodite get a slight buff
He's so
or
good.
rework to her passive. Her passive is really strong, actually.
Yeah, don't buff Sir.
Which character?
Aphrodite.
I underrate that
We
guy.
already reworked that passive. We're pretty happy with it. Does she need a slight buff? Maybe, but she's really good.
Yeah, that passive actually lets her like stay in the middle of a fight and link to targets that she needs to and disrupt targets she needs to.
Do you feel that in general, hunters are in a good place right now? If not, what are some ideas to bring them?
So they had this year they had quite a variety of builds. They could go a little bit more crit focused. They could go a little bit more attack speed focused. Although it did kind of revolve around Poison Star, which is getting a nerf. I don't necessarily think that puts them in a bad state because Wind Demon got a little better. Some of their attack speed options got a little better. So we'll have to see how that all kind of shakes out. But I can't imagine that they'll be broken by Poison Star nerf.
No, as well as a lot of people are, you know, while it's late in the game, the hunters
may
also have the most viability with the speed elixir, because now they can round out their build with a 6th power item, and that makes their endgame curve possibly one of the best for the speed elixir.
And we've had a lot of discussion about duo lane, which we didn't make a lot of changes to directly here, and that's something we're definitely going to keep an eye on. But we don't really feel like duo lane is in a bad place, but it does illustrate some of the core aspects of Smite or MOBA that are maybe just things we have to live with,
and
but like pressure and snowball, those are important parts of a MOBA, so those are hard for us to change. So we're talking about dual lane, but for the most part we're looking at item and god balance to make those gods feel like there's good variance there.
And an important distinction as well is that, you know, there's hunters and mages, and then there's duo lane versus mid. We see a lot of times that hunters may actually be in a good spot, and when you bring them into mid, you know, they have access to a little bit more golds than in the duo lane, and that actually changes the way you feel about that hunter, where certain hunters may not feel so great in the duo lane, but once you bring them to mid, they have access to a little bit more gold. They actually feel a lot different, a lot better, which is why, you know, we still see hunters being played in the mid lane in Season 5. And I don't expect that to change in Season 6.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, good point. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of balance questions now, like...
a physical pestilence.
Yeah, I've seen that request from the community a lot, but...
Physical kins.
Physical defense pestilence would be really damaging.
Ability-based kins, not physical.
Because now you can just buy 2 good tanky items that both have anti-heal on them.
Yeah.
I don't like pestilence. We don't think we need 2 pestilence on people.
We would have to have like the unique passive where if you have one, it wouldn't stack with the exact.
If we were gonna do something that was a physical defense, so when they say physical, I'm assuming they mean defense.
Yeah.
Right.
Something that has physical defense, it would have to have it apply its anti-heal in another way than an aura.
Yeah.
You'd have to hit people with something or something like that. Maybe we would do that.
Kind of like a tank brawler.
Yeah, maybe Toxic Blade could have physical defense and lose a different stat on it or something. Just, I'm not saying that we would do it, but that would be the kind of way we would go about it. We would not want to make 2 auras that do the exact same thing that you can just double stack.
Yeah, they would. That would be insane.
I don't know why people are asking for that so much. It's a very weird, like, I feel like
because of Divine and Brawlers.
Problem that doesn't exist, but.
Yep. Let's see. Will Wingblade get a change, like lower cooldown passive? Wingblade is good.
So good, yeah.
Oh man,
Wingblade was just like the best item in the game and spot on every single character. And
I mean, you still see Wingblade being picked up by like hunters for the 6th item or mages for their 6th item every once in a while.
I love Wingblade. It's great. I don't think if it needs a little buff right now, but I could double check this.
That's actually interesting. Just small theory craft on the new speed elixir. In a lot of situations, you'll end your build because you'll get your core done, and you'll end your build with a tank item.
Yep, definitely.
But
especially mages.
More and more pushed out as people could push their curve higher. Maybe there is a point where you actually hit enough diminishing return that you then sell your boots for a tank item. And Winged Blade would be really good for that because you get the movement speed, you get the movement cleanse. It's a ton of health.
Yep.
And when it comes to that late game, 300 health can be the difference. Like, maybe doing 100 more damage with your basic doesn't make as much of a difference as having 300 more health to survive burst.
Right, absolutely.
Right, it could actually be that you don't actually push more of the top end with damage, but you push more a little bit on those squishier characters with a little bit more health.
Yep.
Any thoughts on Totem of Coup helping with sieging instead of tower sitting? So this is an interesting question because Totem of Coup is an all early game.
Yep.
Only until level 15.
Really cause problems.
15 minutes.
Because it's intended for early game. It's intended to help lanes get pressure back if let your solo laner effectively carry your duo or mid lane if they're having problems.
Right,
is what it's cool about. We adjusted sieging late game in a different way through the enhanced Fire Giant buffs.
Yep.
So it's funny to me the way the person asked the question and combined those two, although they focus on very different aspects of the game. But I understand, like, Totem of Coup makes it a benefit to stay in your tower, but I don't really think that's going to have like a tower sitting type negative feeling to it because you're already going to be losing out on a lot of things. Like, tower sitting is a bad thing to do in the early game, really bad.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to be losing on experience and gold and jungle farm and a lot of things. So I don't really think it's a danger in that regard. Mordred is not planned as a playable god.
Is he
yet.
canonically dead? I think I've seen that.
Yeah, but we can bring him back. You know, it'll be all right.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of like underworld gods. They can just be like, "Yep, you're all
Yeah, I mean, there's gods in their lore who died, and now they're in the game.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
they shouldn't have even been considered at all. Right now, we
Yeah,
can still consider them.
Achilles, like, actually, like, that's what he's kind of famous
Yeah,
for.
he died.
He's dying.
So
But he's not famous for that.
We
but
answered
that's like his
your
famous.
hunter question, my
story.
friend Moosin. You don't need to keep spamming it. We're getting a little close on time. 10
Yeah,
more
it's
minutes.
about there.
Let me double check. Am
Oh,
I
wow.
getting anything
2 hours, they're gonna allow it. I thought they were gonna do 1 hour.
internal that I missed? to
We need a
cover?
mana healer. We technically have characters that
Yeah,
can
so-
restore mana.
Being
So-
near hell restores a lot
Yeah.
of your mana. Is
Aphrodite,
Sylvanas,
notable
Link.
one.
Gives MP
Afro,
slot.
Yeah,
Um,
Sylvanas is
Isis,
plants.
passive.
Isaiah, go ahead and chat me directly if I'm missing anything, or if you're seeing anything from another channel being asked a lot that we're missing. Go ahead and let me know internally.
Oh man.
Any way that old limited skins will be made unlimited? No. Currently, no. Donate big. Donate big in our charity events is the only way to get old.
Who's the
limiteds.
guy in the middle? That's me.
Pon?
Hi.
You don't know. who
Oh, it would have
Pon
been so
is?
much funnier if we just didn't say. You'd just be like, "It's me."
Wait, who's Pon?
Sometimes I feel like
Who are you? How did
this.
you?
This is an honest thing. Sometimes I feel like this is true externally as well, that they mix the two of us together, or they just think I'm like, if you're there, you're Pon Pon, but if I'm there and you're not there, I'm Pon Pon. Like Pon
Maybe.
Pon is this like crazy,
It's an
designer
idea.
that's just there. Pon Pon is inside and with all of
I'm
us.
the artist formerly known as Pon
Yes.
Pon.
So, in case we've gotten confused, we've got Ajax, we've got Pon Pon, we've got Clumsy.
Should have said
it's
Pom
his
Pom 2
birthday.
now.
No, I knew you were gonna. No, not gonna react.
A lot of I don't want to just say no over and over again, so I'm skipping a lot of questions here.
Let's see. Draft pick for casual conquest.
Currently, that's on hold indefinitely still. We don't want to split up the queues anymore. So,
All right.
and we want a core thing of the normal modes is being able to play the god you want and being able to get in the game faster. And the draft pick is really bad at doing both of those, right?
Right.
It hurts you really bad. So, although
True.
draft might be more balanced, it comes at a huge cost, a much longer time before you get into game, which we have strategies on how we might change that. And decreases the chance of getting the god you want by quite a lot. So I don't think we have that many gods that are like blind counterpick buffed. There's a few.
Yeah.
That, like, just because the opponent's team doesn't know you're picking the god, you can be way better. But there's not that many, so.
Yeah, a Wheelix is a big one there. If you've seen a Wheelix, you stop picking leapers.
Right.
Right. That's true.
Let's see.
Any plan for old god design reworks? Not right now.
They've kind of fallen into the same umbrella that we talked about for reworks in general.
Yeah. No plans for a 2v2 game mode.
Chibi Gebskin.
Kali changes.
Kali is sleeper strong right now.
Kali is one of actually the best assassins in Conquest.
She always has been. It's maybe a Nike issue where people just don't believe us or they don't think she's fun.
Well, she's risky, right? Like, you feel real bad when you use your ult poorly.
I guess
Cyclone,
so.
we see you.
But she's very strong. Someone just said hi, Edge.
But that's about getting good. Gotta get good.
Cyclone, we definitely have our eyes on that. Whoever's asking for Surtur, technically he was in one of the adventures.
Oh, he's also technically the Fire Giant. Or he's
Yeah.
being Fire Giant is heavily inspired by him. Please address the fact that the jungler is 1/5 of the team basically dictates the entire game.
What?
How do you feel about that statement, Pompon?
So, I think in general that's a little bit hyperbolic.
The community? Hyperbolic?
So I do think jungler has a really big impact on the early game. And the early game can dictate how the rest of the game goes. I do feel like some people kind of give up a bit too early. I've seen games where like the team comp is just better overall. One lane got behind, but the other team lanes have done what they need to do. And as that kind of early pressure lead fades and it goes to mid game, that starts mattering less and less if the enemy team can come back. There are some things that are being slightly tweaked. For example, the jungle camps being a bit tankier will slow you down naturally, especially as you get to like the, kind of the mid stage of the game. Maybe pressure goes somewhere else to the solo lane, where you want maybe help with the Totem Maku a little bit. That might take pressure off some other lanes. I think there's a lot kind of going on there. A few of the other health items got a little bit better. That makes ganking some lanes a bit harder. We'll see. potential mage itemization being healthy.
Well,
And there's a lot of just moving parts.
This comment makes sense from a core philosophy of a jungler, though, because they're everywhere, right? They roam. So they have high potential to feel high impact, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily statistically drive the win or loss of a game just by winning their jungle. Oftentimes, a very high-performing jungler can still very easily lose the game if another lane loses really poorly.
Yeah.
And this is something that is a core philosophy of just MOBA design. Everyone in the team matters. It's pretty even, we think.
Yep.
But the way the jungler is designed has a high chance for more extreme feelings and reactions.
Yep.
You think the people who think that junglers control the whole game are the same people that all those junglers making posts to stop yelling about babysitting you are the same people? Probably the same people, right?
Yeah,
they're like, oh my god, junglers win or lose every game, and then they're like, someone's on Reddit like, dude, stop telling me to gank your lane over and over again. Like, just to try not losing on your own.
My worst feels as a jungle main is the soul lane going 0-3 and being like, why didn't you gank? And I'm like, I went to dual lane, you died 3 times while I was there. I can't stop that, please.
Yep.
So that's just part of the game, you know?
Yes, Stefan, I am.
Will
Hang on.
accounts already linked be able to transfer worshippers? So
I'm gonna try
whatever
something.
already linked occurred or any transfers in the past will not matter. You'll need to make sure you check on the account. Maybe some sort of linking
Okay, I think I can do
carry
this.
over, but you're going to need to do an extra link. So nothing previous will affect this. You'll need to make sure you log into your HiRez account and confirm that your proper accounts are all linked to the same thing.
God, this chat's fast.
That
It's not
will
kidding.
matter on your merging and your crossplay and your cross progression.
I'm gonna try this. Let's see.
Season 6 of tower debuff. You said in Season 6 the tower debuff will remain if you're willing to take tower shots. What about gods with pets? The pet doesn't count. You have to stay in range.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
God has to stay in range.
That is how that works.
A god has to stay in range.
Yeah,
so gods with pet gods can still deal more damage to towers, but the backdoor protections will go back up.
Yeah, and anything that's considered like a pet, which includes Sun Wukong decoy, Loki decoy, turret, those don't count as gods.
Almost there.
Almost there. 2 hours of answering questions. It's been really fun.
Yeah, it's good.
I think it's been good. I think we've had a lot of good discussion topics.
More account level rewards. We did just add the
We added the
100
titles.
I don't know if anyone's gonna see
which
this,
has
but let's
actually
see.
been super cool to see people running around with Divine and then seeing the occasional person with Godlike, and you're like, oh man, that person's played a lot. I remember trying to figure out the XP curves for like how hard it should be to be 160. So if you're 160, you play a lot of Smite.
All right, we've only got a few more questions, so we'll get ready to say our goodbyes. Do we have any closing statements instead of our answering more questions? Or you just want to see if we can get a few more questions?
We have the next show, which is Monday.
Tuesday?
A Tuesday?
Monday or Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday. One of those days. We have
Tuesday.
Nah,
Tuesday.
it's not letting me.
We changed
we
it,
have,
so internally we changed it.
PTS coming up, which we're going to want people to play and have get feedback from. We got tournaments.
Oh, we're doing our own internal tournament
When
where you
is
can
that?
watch us play against each other. That'll be interesting. Starts Monday.
Man, production's
exciting.
on it.
Yeah.
Yes, we've got that.
I wonder if production, like, if I just ask for like a really good recipe on like how to make.
The guy named Notice
make
Me
a good
has noticed
ratatouille?
me. You have
Yeah.
been noticed. So the main thing to take away though from today is
I
keep
don't think it's
talking
good.
about Season 6.
Yep.
If there's something that you see as a big problem or something we're missing, please bring that up in the community and let's see how many people out there agree or want to talk about that type of thing so we can get more visibility on it so we can continue to talk about it.
Yep.
We're going to keep talking with the Pro Discord. Soon we're going to have the Olympians Discord. That'll be really exciting to have soon too, so we get another way of getting feedback about balance changes and upcoming features. But as of right now, we think the reaction to Season 6 has been pretty positive.
Yeah.
We have a couple things to definitely pay attention to, but I don't think we have anything that's like emergency, must nerf, must buff before we even go to PTS.
Nothing. We're
I
not
don't think that's quite presented itself, so that's great. A lot of people in here asking questions we already answered, so please go back and watch through the VOD if you got here late. There's a lot of big announcements we made also.
A true hero could potentially compile them.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe someone will try to on Reddit or something like that, but it's difficult.
It's a really long shot. I wouldn't blame you if you don't.
Don't forget to go out and vote for your Olympians.
This time, it's really hard to do that.
We're gonna have a full
More
final
questions
patch
than
show
last
next
time.
week with all the 6-1 skins. There's a lot more. We only showed the one Poseidon one, which we're gonna launch a little earlier, but
which
a
is
lot
super
more,
cool.
And a lot more things coming up in that show. Complete Merlin reveal on that show.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Complete Merlin reveal.
We'll
You're
get-
ready.
we'll
Conquest.
get him ready,
He's
we'll get him ready.
This god
He's
is
ready.
amazing.
Okay.
This god is so fun.
Got 100.
And we're
Let's
going to go into a little bit more details about bug fixes, other in-game systems, and all the skins and content and visuals. So it's going to be a really cool patch show. It's going to be, even though we already did all this early stuff, it's still going to feel like a full patch show. Also, we might have some more balance changes by then. Maybe, maybe not. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess that's
Thank you
it.
guys for tuning in
Yeah, thanks, guys.
to the Dev Q&A.
It was fun.
I
Good
think
2
this
hours.
was really successful. I think this was a good thing. Glad we did it.
Yep, absolutely.
So thank you, Isaiah, for putting this together and planning this whole week of announcements. It's been a big task. So Isaiah and the marketing community team, shout outs to them.
Yep.
Shout outs to the designers for working hard and getting all these changes out.
Yep.
Of course, you know, the rest of our team, artists, programmers, everybody out there, QA.
Yeah, everyone has really been busting
Environment,
their chops to get
we've been
everything. It's
Good
platform working on crossplay is big times for Smite, and the team here is super energized and working really hard to make things great. And we
Absolutely.
want to make sure this patch is super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
I guess that's it. We'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, there's a copyrighted music. All right. That was long. That was a lot. I mean, there was new info in there. There's still a lot of insight in there. I wish they would have like skipped over the questions that they kind of answered in the last Q&A, because I feel like that took away a lot from other potential questions, and really this is more on people asking those questions in the first place. just you know, before you ask questions, just inform yourself about what's already been answered. That was a bit frustrating, but I think we still learned a lot. I didn't think about like being like that I could possibly summarize this before. I think at this point it's probably not worth it. Like, I'd have to go through the entire 2 hours again, and if you're really interested in the answers, I think there's a lot of information, because I don't think, compared to the other Q&A, I don't think this one could be broken down into a much shorter segment. So yeah, I'd rather leave it at that. And before the next thing starts here, we are just gonna jump out of this. And I thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, feel free to smash that subscribe button. I hope this was interesting and entertaining to watch. And on that, see you for the next one tomorrow. DukeSloth, out.